Yes. It's finally over, Jared. Hello, welcome back. It's been so long. It's been so long. It feels like an eternity. But it's only been a few months. I was very surprised that it's been such a short time. But it is time for Dom, not Conquest or Land Battle. Did it go? You type it. Let me make sure to reload, make sure people are checked in and all that. And then let me generate the bracket. Wonderful. We're all ready to go. Bracket. Round 1 is up. We're back in the game. How have you been, Jared? How have you been? All right, we got a pretty decent size tournament list here. I've had a long while, so it makes sense. I mean, it's not as big as it was before, because like the last freshman tournament was like 18 players, give or take, or something like that, if I recall. So this one here we have, let me see, I think we have like less than 10. 14 signed up with 1, 2, 3, and then it's signed up. So we have 11 total. I've been alright as well. Thanks for asking. Glad you're able to sit back and relax. Hopefully gonna try to do some land battle content again soon if you're more into that. Let me see if if people listened to me in regards to spectator slots. I don't think so. I think I'm gonna message people. I think I'm gonna have to message people and ask. Unfortunately, it's to be expected from new players. They don't probably know how to open up spectator slots. What can you do? What can you do? I need to turn this music down. Right. Look at that. Spectator slot. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that freaking wonderful? I'm so proud of them. I sound so condescending, but it's not meant to be condescending. It's just like every time I've hosted a tournament, people just like have never opened a spec slots. Which is, fine, but all it requires is a message. But it's nice to not have to message people. Here we are. It seems we have Nurgle up against the Chaos Dwarves. I would think so. Let me just check. If so, that should be pretty fun. Generally, I would probably put this in favor of Chaos Dwarves, simply for a few reasons. But it's been a while since I've actually participated in DOM, so I could be wrong. But let me check, make sure these two are actually Nurgle and Chaos Dwarves. The SFT declaration. We do have a Nurgle, and we do have Chaos Dwarves from Renataki. Let's actually check the win rates right here on Total Tavern for Nurgle and Chaos Dwarves. So we go here to... First of all, let me do this. On the left, okay. We should be good to go. Yeah, all right. Put this up here. One second. It's been a while since I did this. Do. There we go. All right. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm a bit out of it, but here we are. We had the total tavern. We got the stats. So for Nurgle, let's see where Nurgle's at. 41, 43, have a little just under 50%, but they're they're relatively even so far with their matchups. But against the Chaos Dwarves in particular, how are they doing? So we go down here. Okay, yeah, about what I expect so far. I mean, it's a very low count of actual matches, but it seems that the Chaos Dwarves are doing as well as I'd expect. In general, for a lot of reasons, they have a lot of firepower in terms of fire glaives. Their trains are particularly powerful and kind of hard to shut down for Nurgle, though it's not unwinnable, obviously. Let's close this out real quick. Definitely not unwinnable. The Nurgle has quite a bit of ability options with rot flies, with plague toads. Plague toads I probably wouldn't bring into Chaos Dwarves, but Rot Riders are also, if they get a catch on a train, they will absolutely destroy it so quickly. Like, they are insanely good. The issue is obviously that trains have a lot of mass, so pretty tough. I haven't played on this map, or I haven't seen this map at all, in fact. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Whoa, this is a very cool map. Wow, this is awesome. I saw like a screenshot of it, but I didn't actually get this like loaded into the map, and this is very, very cool. Oh my god. Once again, okay, so I've been playing land battles for the past year or so, ever since I kind of like burned out on Dom. And the maps are okay. They're CAs, so not a whole lot of creativity in some of the maps. And then I returned back to Dom, and I remember like the maps are some of the best part of the Dom competitive scene, because the map makers are just so insanely creative and just like make the best at what assets they have, and sometimes they like make their own assets. Like I think Bob used the cactus assets somebody else made. I can't remember, but either way, I mean, look at this. Like, this is some like skeletal remains of some gigantic, I don't know what kind of creature this could be, and then like some Nurgle infestation growing out of it. What's left of the carcass. This actually feels like you're in the freaking demon realm of Nurgle. Oh my god, this is incredible. Anyways, let's go over the armies we have for the Chaos Dwarves. A Sorcerer Prophet of Fire, pretty good. Obviously, always a really good choice up against Nurgle with the fire damage, Burning Head, and a Vial of Hashut, which is going to provide that nice weakness to fire for 20% and reduce armor. Though Nurgle doesn't have a lot of armor, it can still be really good against like Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, or like heck, even like I think some of the Biotrolls have 60, so I mean, that's still pretty good. Reduce them down to 0 and then shoot the heck out of them with your Wolf Raiders, which can skirmish back, and which are better skirmishers than the Horsemen with throwing axes because they have much farther range. And then that extra fire damage as well, which is really, really incredible. With that ROR, you always want to bring these guys from IMO whenever you want to go for a skirmish game with Chaos Dwarves, because they just are so incredible over the base ones. Like, look at those stat differences. Obviously, there's a little bit of change right now because some of them are missing a little bit of health, maybe. No, they're pretty fresh. But yeah, like the stat difference there is insane. And then the Oglagon Wolf's Boys provide that flammable effect, increasing that fire from that damage from fire as well. So definitely one of my favorite RORs in the entire Chaos Dwarf roster, if not like one of my favorite RORs in general. But yeah, we got some good high Fireborn, going to do great against demons with their magic damage, and then fire, and then get some pretty good armor at 80, or pretty decent armor at 80, and then some pretty good stats all around. Seen a lot more of them recently, and they're doing pretty good. I'm pretty happy to see it. We also have some Chaos Dwarf Warriors, which should hold back any Marauders, and no trains yet so far, anything like that. For the Nurgle side, we do have Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle with Rancid Visitations and Curse of the Leopard. Not bad. I'm very interested to see how Curse of the Leopard does. Do you have the Kadai Fireborn being hit by that those Bile Trolls, that stomach acid, reducing them down. We have a nice Burning Head coming in there on the Forsaken. The Nurgle player dodges it, somewhat dodges it, doing pretty okay there. Mostly does damage to the Goblin Laborers, so not that great of trade. It does do pretty good to the Marauders, close to routing them, but luckily they narrowly stay in the game. Some Chaos Fury sent in to bog down those skirmishing units from the Chaos Dwarf side, but Chaos Dwarf player responds quickly with a Hobgoblin Cav unit to stop them. And they get dispatched immediately. Nurglings capture point 3, and that's one thing you have to pay attention to in Dom, is that nobility is very, very important. These Nurglings are able to get to that point quickly, while the Chaos Dwarves don't have too quick of units aside from their Wolf Raiders, which aren't that great. But I think maybe the Cav can fight off a unit of Nurglings. I'm not sure. Not in sustained combat, I don't think. But with sustained cycle charging, yes. The Kadai Fireborn are continuing to fight in this muck here with the Sorcerer Lord and the Bile Trolls. The Sorcerer Prophet is going to jump in here and start to try to help out with these Bile Trolls, but he's got to be careful. There is some Rotted Horsemen throwing axes, and these guys can do a lot of damage very, very quickly. And if these Kadai Fireborn are to rout, actually, Kadai Fireborn, excuse me, if they start to diminish because they have demonic instability, then the things could be looking very bad. But they're holding on for a little bit. Then they take some pretty good damage there from the Marauder throwing axes, so that could be pretty scary there. Burning Head going down on them, trying to rout them, but it doesn't really do too much damage to Cav. It's more so to infantry. And now the Kadai Fireborn are starting to go into demonic instability, so you got to be careful there. The Sorcerer Prophet is going to pull out there really, really well. Smartly played by the Chaos Dwarves. You do have double train coming in. Oh no, Magma Cannon coming in, and a Iron Demon. So these guys should be pretty good here. Magic damage from those trains. They do provide that suppressed effect, so it can slow down like throwing axes if need be. Magma Cannon takes that first shot into Marauders, and well, it's aiming for the throwing axes, but it hits the Marauders instead. They took the brunt of that, which is obviously pretty good for their Nurgle side. But yeah, these Kadai Fireborn are just taking an absolute beating from these throwing axes. We got to get rid of these throwing axes. Maybe get these skirmishing around. Starting to roll low on ammo, but they need to be more focused fire on one particular unit, like these throwing axes, just because you have to screen them out. But that's what the Magma Cannon is here for. It's going to do an excellent job at that, much better than the Wolf Boys. The Wolf Boys are pretty good, but they don't have the high of accuracy, so it takes them a little while to fight those guys back, but they'll do the job if the Magma Cannon can't. Now we have the train coming in here. Let's take a look at that bad boy as it starts to run over those Forsaken. Very nice. Immediate route, practically. They were starting to wavering. Probably going to route in like an instantaneous moment. As soon as they take a little bit more damage, down to 3 leadership, down to 2. There they go. Iron Demon is going to start to be surrounded by these Bile Trolls, which might start taking friendly fire from the throwing axes, but we'll see. But yeah, the Iron Demon turns around. Smart choice by the Chaos Dwarves. You gotta get that thing out of there. But look what I was saying. Like the Nurgle side can deal with the train very, very efficiently, given the tools, given the right choices from the Nurgle player. And this is just with Bile Trolls. It's not even with the Rot Riders. And you do get a Rancid Visitations on them. It's a pretty good cast there, overcasted. Plus the throwing axes. Oh my god, that Iron Demon is getting absolutely destroyed. It is practically dead already. That is very, very bad. It's getting kited now by the throwing axes, and it's pretty much donezo. 713, 716 actually for the Nurgle side to the Chaos Dwarf, 115. So unfortunately things aren't looking pretty grim. I would say maybe someone in a Wolf Raider if you have the supply so to just capture point 3 while the Nurglings run away, but understandably so. They can easily go back. But the Nurglings aren't a menace, or aren't like hard to defeat. So if he's on like a Wolf Raider, maybe a Goblin unit or something to go capture that point, they can fight off any Nurglings that come back. But yeah, now up to a 3-point cap, looking pretty bad, especially with that train gone. But we do have another Iron Demon. Is this a different Iron Demon that's got resummoned? Oh my god. Okay. Magma Cannon is still off, hopefully. It is wavering a bit. We do have the Wolf Raiders trying to fend off the Furies once again to save that magma cannon, because if that magma cannon goes down, there goes any hope from the Chaos Dwarves to come back into this game. I'm thinking maybe the Sorcerer Prophet could possibly here maybe snipe out that Chaos Sorcerer Lord if given the chance, or maybe fight off those Pestigors. But this Iron Demon should not be back here chasing off these horsemen. This is a lot of value that the Nurgle player is getting here, and this Iron Demon will not be able to come back, especially with the Curse of the Slug and now the Angels of Decay. Angels of Decay, a perfect counter against the vanilla Iron Demon, which is more so suited to shooting at infantry and even cav a little bit more so. Definitely not as great shooting against air units. So if the Chaos Dwarf player isn't careful here, if they don't start pulling that Iron Demon out, I think it's pretty much dead. But it is causing a lot of problems for the Nurgle player in the backside. But now their throwing axes are coming back, and I think once that Iron Demon falls, it's pretty much probably going to be over for the Chaos Dwarves. But we do see point 3 starting being captured finally by these Wolf Raiders. These Wolf Raiders sitting in those horrendous Nurgle tentacles. Might want to be staying away from those guys. Maybe don't want to catch anything there, Wolf Raiders. But some Wolf Raiders do come over to reinforce those other Wolf Raiders on point 2, the Oglakan Wolf Boys. But now the Battle Trolls are going back. The same with the Pestigors. Unfortunately, the magma cannon has been finished off, shut down, shattered now. Some Kadai Fireborn gets summoned in, which will do great against the Forsaken and will dispatch them very quickly. But the issue is that they just don't have anything else left on the battlefield. There's just too much going on, too much battle control that the Nurgle player already has, and I think it's almost impossible here for the Chaos Dwarves to come back anymore. Maybe some Hobgoblin Cutthroats or the flanking variant would have been a little better here early on to try to match the Nurglings, because if you had brought in out those not the Cutthroats, however they're called, the ones with the throwing knives, if they got here and got to the point when the Nurglings were still on there, they could have beat off the That sounds wrong. they could have beat the Nurglings back and taken that point much sooner. If you had been able to take point 3 much sooner, then I think the Chaos Dwarf player would have a better chance here. But honestly, these Thorn Axes have done tremendous works here. I mean, let's look at the value here. For 836 on this one, where is the other ones? Probably gone at the moment, but I imagine they did pretty good here. They didn't. The Chaos Dwarf player struggled with shutting them down very quickly. 808 so far on the Angels of Decay as well, and good match though. Good, well played by the Chaos Dwarves. Again, the low match count on the total tavern stats isn't indicative enough of how actually both factions do in this matchup. So you can't immediately say that reasonably the Chaos Dwarves should win here. I would expect Chaos Dwarves to have an upper leg in this, but it's still like a coin toss, in my opinion, depending on the players, especially depending on the map as well. Because Nurgle can, if they get that chance and they shut down one of your trains, shut down one of your artillery pieces, it's going to look pretty bad for the Chaos Dwarves. I would say, for the Chaos Dwarf player, for Renataki, I probably wouldn't take 2 Iron Demons. Hold on. First of all, I just realized. Okay, so I was right. It was 2 Iron Demons. It wasn't, because that one came out of the deployment too fast. And I was thinking, what? No way. That magma cannon. I mean, that Iron Demon is back already. No freaking way. But yes, if there's one I would bring in this match, it would probably be the ROR, because that has the flamethrower on it rather than the machine gun type thing that the vanilla one has. And you don't really need the armor piercing against Nurgle, honestly. The only times you're really gonna need the armor piercing is against their Chaos Warriors, but how often are you gonna see Chaos Warriors against Chaos Dwarf from the Nurgle side? I would say probably not that often. So definitely I would bring the ROR for sure, or maybe bring the mortar variant as well. But yeah, let's look at the values here. Well played to both players. Really good match. Really nice map. Super cool freaking map. Again, first time I've seen it. Super, just really, really incredibly well made. Let's look at the values here. 2297 on the Sorcerer Prophet. Again, fire, fantastic against Nurgle. And the Sorcerer Prophet is still good despite their nerf. It's still incredibly good. Definitely the right choice here. Even Astrogoth is a decent choice here as well. Small mobile piece, not as expensive as a Sorcerer Prophet. You won't have as much agency because he's small infantry size, so you can't get to all sides of the battlefield quickly. But still very mobile, still very hard to kill, and pretty good caster. But with the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire, you get Burning Head. So just any Chaos Dwarf players out there, make sure to take that into consideration. The Wolf Raiders, 827 here at 648. The Kadai Fireborn did pretty alright. This one did 766. Didn't pay for themselves, but this one did very much so. Kadai Fireborn, as I said, are fantastic in this matchup. Doing just really, really good. Can deal with Forsaken, can deal with Marauders. Though if they get shot by those Soaring Axes, if those guys aren't shut down, then the Fireborn can take a lot of damage very, very quickly from those Soaring Axes. They have a lot of AP on them, plus the poison reducing their weapon strength and all that. Really good. But yeah, like the back pocket Wolf Raiders. You need those for the mobility to contest against Nurgle. Yeah, Iron Demons unfortunately are where the faltering came. Yeah, you don't need double magma cannons either, but it's fun. It's fun. You gotta take these risks. I like the Fire Glaives here as well. Yeah. Nurgle side, we got 1377 here on the Chaos Sorcerer Lord with those Rancid Visitations. Very good. Pestigores, pretty good here as well. Can take apart Chaos Dwarf Warriors as well. Actually, as well, I want to say I'm not too big of a fan of Chaos Dwarf Warriors here. Again, it's still fun. We're new players here, just experimenting. But on the off chance that you want feedback, I would say maybe no Chaos Dwarf Warriors, just mostly goblins. You can even bring the Hobgoblin Cutthroats as well if you need be. But generally, your Fireborn should be able to help deal with your infantry. But, the Chaos Dwarf Warriors aren't terrible. The RWR ones are great with their little fire bombs, though, so. Best scores, alright. Nothing too spectacular here. We had some Ogres in the back line and the reinforcements, which could have been pretty good. The Throwing Axes did great, yeah, as I imagined. They just were not screened out enough, unfortunately, for the Chaos Dwarf player. But yeah, 1349 and 1037. Just did fantastic there. We're able to pretty much use all their ammo, I'm pretty sure. So, good match. Oh yeah, for sure. No, they're not like OP or anything, but they're definitely a lot better now. Big personal fan here. I love the Chaos Dwarves. Definitely one of my favorite factions next to the Lizardmen. So, pretty excited for them, especially to see them do so well in Dom. Yeah, 3 matches down. Souffle Pancake unfortunately has a bye. Old Clickampe has okay, so we have 2 matches left. Unfortunate downside of having an odd player out. But should be alright. Should be alright. Pretty good match though. Very, very nice map. Again, so I've been playing Land Battle recently, and it's just like the map differences in terms of quality is insane. Definitely insane for sure. Oh, is this the same person probably? Yeah, it's Sven. Okay. Might hop into Sven's again. We'll see. Yeah, cause I mean the Chaos Dwarves, what they got? 1 second. They got some cost reductions across the board now, so kind of exactly what they needed. If I recall correctly, I could be wrong. All I remember from that patch was there was a lot of small changes, mostly price decreases and increases. So. All right. Let's see here. Let's check the total tavern once again. Check the bracket. Okay. Not too bad here, not too bad. Let's see how Antici's tournament is doing as well. Oh, but let me see what I would probably do for Chaos Swords against Nurgle. I think Turin already did one, but let's see, how cheap is Astrogoth with... The only reason I would take Astrogoth is specifically for his Flamestorm, if I were to take him for his spells. Which obviously you should, he's a spellcaster, but my point is that the reason I would take him over the Firecaster, the Sorcerer Prophet. Flamestorm is pretty good here. Don't really think Burning Wrath is kind of trash. Ashstorm, I wish it was a bigger speed reduction, but it's fine. Probably for Cascading Fire Cloak and Flamestorm is pretty much all I would take. I think that's pretty much it. Maybe Black Hammer push up, but it's 200. It's kind of too expensive. So, would I take any? I would definitely take probably like 2 Fireglaves in the back line. I think, you know what, are pretty good. I think Hobgoblin Archers are pretty solid against Nurgle, specifically because they also do fire damage. They have decent range at 140, so they can screen out the, I think the 90 of the Skirmish Cav. 70, so yeah, I definitely can screen them out. And can shoot at Rottflies, can shoot at Bile Trolls. You know, there was a lot of squishy targets on the Nurgle side. Ever since they got their cost reduction, I've been quite fond of them. That's exactly what they need was a cost reduction. At 500, such a good value. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting some Goblin Laborers out there, getting the Blazing Beards up a Berserk. It's not too bad there. If you want to go for some mobility, which I think you should in the early round of Dom, is you go with Ugly Wolf Boys and double Wolf Raiders, or maybe just like dual Wolf Raiders is also fine. You can bring the Wolf Boys later on. If you want to go for something big, like say a Godai Destroyer or a double Fireborn, you can go double Fireborn. You could probably cut one of those guys. Go double Fireborn there. Maybe... Yeah, you can still afford them. You just gotta take out one of the Hobgoblin Archers. Aside from that, I mean, you can even put the Blazing Beards in the back line as well. But 105, you could use that for another spell. You could use that for that Kindle Flame. I think that's okay. If you, I suppose, you could just go for a Laborer. There's nothing wrong with that. The armor piercing is sort of wasted, but in the off chance that they fight like Forsaken or Chaos Warrior, they can get a little bit more value because they have armor. Check the bracket again, just in the off chance that I'm missing anything. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Sven. Thanks for hopping in. You did pretty good. I look forward to seeing you play more Chaos Dwarves. I love me some Chaos Dwarves. Oh yeah, it's time to advance the Swiss. Awesome. Round 2 is up, Sven. Good luck in your games. Hey, Sven, you were Nurgle. Sorry, you mixed up there. Sorry. Well played with your Nurgle. Sorry. Got names mixed up there, but yeah, you did good. Okay, second round is up. I can't remember now. Yeah, I think Sven is Nurgle. All right. So, second round is up. Let me announce that in the... Got a direct message. Thanks, Lazuka, for letting me know that the round 2 can be advanced. Always appreciated. I can get sidetracked very, very easily. What's my favorite faction? Lizardmen, definitely. Sorry, I didn't see your message there, Jared. I love Lizardmen so much. Till the day I die, I will be a Lizardman diehard. Chaos Dwarfs is close second, honestly. I love Chaos Dwarfs. They're just so incredible. Let's see if we can find a game. We'll go over the rest of this later. I probably should have saved that, but honestly, it's fine. Fresh spawn. Let's see here. I'm turning fresh. That's not. Let's check that out. Let's run Ataki again. Should I expect to run Ataki again? Let's check out another one just on the off chance that we can find another one. We got Sven, we got Dom turning fresh. Okay. Let me see if I can get somebody. Let's see, Potato Devils. Who is this person up against? Let me check here. Thanks for hosting the event. Your Twitch redirect on turning goes to a dead end. Oh no. Okay, let me change that. Thank you for letting me know. Let me fix that real quick while we wait for the player to respond. I think I made a mistake here. Let me see. Thanks for playing, Sheena. Appreciate it. I'm glad to get some tournaments going for new players again. It's very fun. Did I misspell my own name or something in the Total Tavern page? That'd be super funny. Oh yeah, I did. No, I just did the wrong link. That's what happened here. Yeah, I see now. Yeah, that was the old name. That's why. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Let me change that real quick. There we go. All changed now. All good. Appreciate that, Sheena. Good luck in your match, by the way, Sheena. Let me just check something really quick. All right. Should be good to go. We got Hashut's oil fields. I think I haven't seen this one either. So I pretty much put... Oh, no. This is the wrong map. It's Whirling Maelstrom. So gotta make sure they know that. But let me send them a message as an off chance that they don't know. Oh, there we go. They got it. They're swift. They know what they're doing. Lizuka knows. Yeah, just get that blocker up. Seems we got Zinch up against Bretonia. Is this a mysterious Bretonia player here? People are actually playing Bretonia. What is happening here? I love it. Are these the only Bretonia player? I see one from Lizuka. Yeah, they are the only Bretonia player, I think. That is incredible. Kudos to them. I hope things go well. Against Zinch, Without looking at the stats, let me try to think of how this match could go. I could definitely see... I mean, I'm sure a lot of people saw... Some people saw Turin's video, his cast recently of that Bretonnia army of Grail Guardians. So I think anything is kind of possible here. I think Tzeentch has the upper hand generally here, specifically because they just have very, very easy methods to shut down what Bretonnia brings. So Cav can easily be I'm trying to think about this a little bit more. I try to want to be too narrow-minded here. Let me think of what Bretonnia can bring. So Bretonnia, very cost-effective archers. Archers, great. Archers which will suffer very badly from pink fires if that's what Tzeentch will go for. But in general as well, they can easily be terror-routed by literally anything, but they will always come back pretty much. King Luan Leoncoeur is a fantastic fighter, has his little spell shield item, which gives him some magic resistance and missile resistance, which Tzeentch has a lot of. The Cav for Bretonnia, Grail Guardians should theoretically do fantastic here if they're brought. Same with Grail Knights, but Bretonnia has to be very careful here. They have Tzeentch has a lot of flying units, a lot of ways to catch out one of your units if you make a mistake with their mini nets. But this is the Changeling here, so the Changeling does not have a net. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, let me make sure that I'm actually like, I know I got that wrong, but let me make sure I'm actually streaming to Twitch because my name in OBS as well is also incorrect. Okay, I am. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Alright. We're in this. We have, for the Tzeentchian side, we do have the Changeling. They have their Formless Horror, which is going to transform them into the Green Knight. Very interesting. Green Knight backstabbing Bretonnia. I love to see that thematically. We get the Cultist of Tzeentch on horseback with Burning Head, because obviously the Changeling does not have Burning Head. They only have the Tzeentch magic. So instead, they're opting for Burning Head of Firecaster. For the front line, it's just going to be a whole bunch of Chaos Warriors, which will beat back pretty much anything Bretonnia throws at them in terms of infantry. Foot Squires might win it out, but I don't know. But you don't typically see that matchup. I think they should. But you're not going to see Foot Squires Generals matchup either. So, usually. I could be wrong. Soul Grinder as well. Should be great. Should do okay here. Soul Grinder isn't what he used to be when it was pretty much broken. But it was still do okay, like chipping away at models for Cav and shooting at Luan or shooting at like hippogriffs if they're brought. Especially like Pegasus Knights. So picking off any models at all is extremely valuable. And decent fighter, 4235 with decent AP there at 315. So pretty decent choice there. Exalted Flamer as well would absolutely nuke anything that they shoot at. So we'll see how they do. King Luan Leoncoeur here. He is Mr. Leon. He is here to take down the Tzeentchian demons. Lion Shield, going to give him that 40% spell resistance. And just pretty much it there. For the Cav, we have some Knights of the Realm on the left-hand flank. Going to be going for 0.1 immediately. Going to use that mobility to their advantage. Bretonnia with a whole bunch of spearmen at arms, a staunch line of spears, and is that a single unit? 2 units of battle programs. Will obviously lose very badly to some Chaos Warriors, but maybe they didn't expect Chaos Warriors. We'll see. You got some peasant bowmen as well in the back line. 3 of those bad boys. Going to probably start seeing more of them very soon. Already, King Luin is taking a hit from that soul grinder. About 300, 400 HP or so. Nice shot there. Another one going in there. Got to be careful with Leon. Those shots can amount up pretty quickly. For the caster, we have a Damsel Beast with just Flock of Doom and the Amber Spear. Amber Spear should do okay. It's not what it once used to be in Warhammer 2, but it's still alright. Changeling turns into the Green Knight, the dreaded traitor, going against Bretonnia. Bretonnia will now be fooled, and then again, the Green Knight has betrayed them, and the real Green Knight is face-palming in the forest somewhere, knowing that he'll never be able to step inside a Bretonian village or castle ever again. Guerrero the Quay as well to help keep the leadership of the peasants. Oh, these are actually Knights of the Realm and Knights Errant. Interesting. Okay, the more cheaper cav. We have a overcasted burning head there, nuking one of those peasant bowmen. Oh no, it's hitting the second one. Can the third one react in time? No, they're going to walk right into it. Can the burning head curve? No. It goes right still into the back of them. Oh, absolutely obliterating. That's what I was saying. The burning head is just so freaking good there against the back line of, oh my god. And now King Luin is going to jump down to try to fight the changeling there. Might be a bit of a mistake here with the Chaos Warriors in tow. But the changeling is taking quite a bit of damage, but in same return, King Luin, this could be very, very bad for Bretonnia. Oh no. If King Luin is taken down here, he does get routed. This could be very bad for the Bretonnian side if he isn't able to get back up. Can King Luin get screened out here by the can the Green Knight be screened out here by the infantry? And they does. King Luin does get up into the air. Luckily, Soul Grinder might be able to get a few more shots in before he gets out of range, and he's back, starts regenning, needs to get out of the range of the Soul Grinder as he takes another shot there. All 3 hitting, doing some pretty good damage, might end up making him rout again. Pegasus Knights brought in, going to be a perfect to throw against the Soul Grinder, but obviously the Tzeentch player is probably going to be a little bit careful here. They know this is coming, so they have the Sour Guts coming in, and they're going to do some pretty good damage to the only 80 armor of the Royal Pegasus Knights. So they're not shooting, they're just going into melee, which is very interesting. I would definitely be shooting at the moment, but now the Royal Pegasus Knights are going to dip out, not going to take this anymore. They know if the situation is bad, so another burning head here, ripping apart the spearmen and even slightly tagging the other spearmen and making them immediately rout. As you can see, the Bretonnian peasants, they take any damage, they will run for their lives because that's who they are. They are but mere peasants, but mere farmhands. They will take none of this. The bound spell, the Tzeentch army bolt, I forgot what it's called, comes and smacks King Luin down to 561 HP already, only 4 minutes into the game. Hopefully King Luin stays in the back, which is what he should do to regen some of his health, but it seems like he's going to maybe risk it and start moving up, which is very, very scary. Definitely taking that battle with the Changeling or the Green Knight was way too risky, and definitely did not pay off, unfortunately, for the Bretonnian side. Pink Horrors, the Sour Guts shooting in there into the Knights of the Realm, doing some pretty solid damage to them as their backs are now turned. They're not getting those bronze shields to block some of that fire. They don't have that great of AP though, with only 5, so not too bad. The Royal Pegasus Knights try to capture the cultists, but are struggling to do so. As just flying cav in general, always struggling. And the Tzeentch player, their burning heads are just on point. And unfortunately, the Bretonnian player is suffering major losses from it. Burning head is just so good against Bretonnia, when their most cost-effective units are low armored archers. Soul Grinder continuing to shoot in there at the Pegasus Knights. They're taking a lot of damage from the Sour Guts and from the Soul Grinder. Soul Grinder is going to start moving forward to start shoot in at a different target, maybe shooting at the Companions of Cornell or the Knights of the North. Companions of Cornell are going to be those armor-piercing units you're going to really need here to deal with some of the mass amount of infantry that the Chaos Warriors that the Tzeentch player is throwing at you. These rear chargers aren't going to do too much with the steep hill, because I don't think they have Yeah, they do not have Strider, so taking a bit of a penalty there. But Royal Pegasus Knights going to try to dip down here once again. I think what's best for the Royal Pegasus Knights is just to continue pressuring the Soul Grinder, because trying to capture out the single entity cultists is not going to be very easy. They are very slippery and they can get a lot of support very, very easily. And not all the models for the Pegasus Knights are going to be able to tag or hit cultists. But hey, they do finally catch the cultists a little bit too late, unfortunately, as the cultists have done tremendous work already. But it's a good catch nonetheless. Hopefully the Pegasus Knights can get out of there and make that trade worth it. Point 1 is in the hands of Bretonnia. Point 2 in the hands of Tzeentch, and point 3 in the hands of Tzeentch as well. Looking in terms of infantry, we got a whole massive infantry from Bretonnia here, which need to not be blobbing up against Tzeentch. Whenever a single infantry unit like this, just send like one up to deal with it, and Holy Wardens send the other around to try to capture points. You gotta get mass onto these points as soon as possible when you're down on points like this. But it's obviously in general against domination, it's obviously important. Commanders of Cornell do take a charge into those Chaos Warriors, or the Zangors rather, which would theoretically be okay for them, but we have the Soul Grinder here as well, plus some Weird Spawn and Marauders. Those Champions of Cornell will not last too long if they continue staying in sustained combat. There's some Chaos Knights with the Lances here. Awesome. These guys should do absolutely incredible against anything Bretonnia throws at them in terms of infantry and cav if they don't get the charge. Knights of Lionhearted are going to get that charge onto the Chaos Knights, but it's a very limp charge. Only partial bits of the actual cav themselves do get a charge into there. But now with the Soul Grinder assisting, and then the Chaos Knights getting that full brunt of a charge, yeah, those Knights of the Lionhearted took insane amounts of damage and are suffering for it. They are rowdy now. And now we get another Burning Head. The cultist unfortunately did seem to have... Wait, where is the cultist? Didn't he survive? Seems like he did. Yes, he did. He is right there surviving amongst all these Pegasus Knights. And this is why I don't think it's too worth it to stack up units like them on it. And I imagine the Burning Heads have already got enough value for them anyways. But good catch nonetheless. Just got to finish them off. Unfortunately, though, the cultists are very cheap, so very easy to just resummon back very quickly, especially with that many supplies, that abundance of supplies that Unlimited Power has. And considering this is the Green Knight, does the Green Knight have the regeneration as... Yes, he does. He does have Sacred Guardian right now, so he is regenning while he's in the forest. It's only, what, 0.10%, so it's not tremendous. He has a lot of life left to have to regain, but that's a very nice change there from the Changelings going in for the Green Knight. He can regen his own health if he has some forest on the map, and he's a pretty good fighter overall, as he was able to beat Lewin pretty much solo. Very, very cool. Very nice little pick there by the Tzeentchian side. I like it. They're cooking something up. But only with only 1 point from the Bretonnian side being held, it's not looking too great here. With this massive blob of infantry and cav and single entities, it's very scary for the Bretonnian player to try to tackle point 2. So maybe the best bet is just to go around the massive infantry here on point 3 and try to take this point and hold it off from the mass that is the Tzeentchian units on point 2. Cultist is back. Unfortunately, probably going to get another burning hit on this poor peasant bowman. I hope the Bretonnian player notices, but I don't think they will. I unfortunately do not think they will, as it's a pretty good map to hide like your spellcast templates in. Ooh, a nice little for what it's called there. Not Flock of Doom. Amber Spear there on that. Still doesn't finish off the cultist. Cultist still lives, 183 HP, but Overcast kills the Bretonnian caster before the bolt even hits them. That's tremendous. What was it? An overcasted like Flock of Doom, I'm guessing, or is it an overcast? Was it the overcasted bolt? That's insane. That was before the bolt even hit them. So this CG player just kind of like writes it off like, well, that's my job well done. That was not intended, but it's the same results. So Cultist does get finished off, but after a tremendous journey there from the Bretonnian Knights it may not be worth it after all. After all that effort. Poor Pegasus Knights. Peasant Bowman continuing to fire in, getting some decent value shooting at the Soul Grinder, which only has 90 armor. 90 is still a lot, but, you know, with them being exhausted, it's down to 68, so it helps. Definitely, the Bretonnian player needs to take these lights to the realm, maybe go across and around to try to put more pressure on point 2 and start getting rear charges instead of just taking instead of doing like front or side charges. But they're going to try to go over to point 3. My issue is that I kind of think it's already over, especially with how much damage that how many times they have to re-summon their archers because of the burning heads and because of the amount of losses that they took for their more important units, their Cavs, their Pegasus Knights. Yeah, it is going to go to Tzeentch here. Probably was almost like an early call already with the Lewin being taken down, because Lewin is just such a big like cost sink that losing him so early on is pretty rough. It's pretty rough for their chances. And then on top of that, Chaos Warriors just pretty much had nothing to like it pretty much had no counters, so they were able to beat back all of the infantry of Bretonnian side. So just really good there. For unlimited power, we have 1755 here from the Changeling, doing pretty well. Pretty substantial work as the Green Knight fighting back King Lewin. Very nice niche little tactic there. Like it a lot. 2199 on the Cultists of Tzeentch with those burning heads. The burning heads are fantastic. Did incredible working on such a cheap caster. Chaos Warriors did great. 2110 on the Soul Grinder of Tzeentch. Now, Soul Grinder, as I said, really fantastic at chipping away at these like large targets, but I think what needed to maybe happen was either Pegasus Knights needed to just continue chasing after the Soul Grinder and just dealing with whatever else was being used to screen them out, and while that happens, use maybe like your cheaper cav to try to chase down the Sour Guts, or the fend off any other units that get sent to aid the Soul Grinder, because the Soul Grinder can amount value very, very quickly. But at the same time, King Lewin maybe just needed to stay out of range of the Soul Grinder for a little while until it either ran out of ammo or started to get low on ammo, or they got the opportunity to jump on top of it. Because if King Lewin can jump on top of the Soul Grinder, you can beat it back very quickly. Maybe not very quickly, but quickly enough. 1076 on the Chaos Knights, pretty good there. Sour Guts, decent work overall. Weird Spawn, nice there with their armor sundering. Unfortunately, King Lewin only 690 value, maybe a little early to try to snipe out the Green Knight, especially considering the Green Knight is a very tough fighter, despite even with King Lewin's magic attacks going past his physical resistance. Holy Wardens and the Battle Pilgrims didn't do too great, as you can imagine. Don't have that great of targets here, aside from the Marauders. 2467 on the Royal Pegasus Knights, very good here. I think I'd take the Royal Pegasus Knights over the generic Pegasus Knights. I think the generic Pegasus Knights aren't that great. The Royal Pegasus Knights, fantastic. Hippogriff, the Hippo Knights are also fantastic as well. But maybe needed some Grail Knights or Grail Guardians instead over these two. But I think having the flying units to fight back any possible change bringers, or to just challenge the mobility of the Tzeentchian side, is really smart. So I don't have any issue with it. 1244 here for the Knights of Lionhearted. They did pretty decent for being an anti-large cav without that great of AP. So not bad there. Well played to both players. Very nice. And map was very cool too. First time I saw that one as well. Whirling Maelstrom. Awesome map. All right, let us take a look at the... Let's take a look at the brackets. All right. Seems so far we've got 3 matches done so far. We just have 2 more left. I feel so unfortunate for the people who get buy rounds. It's such a struggle. It's like the worst part of Swiss tourney sometimes. But it's okay because the next round they will have an opponent. But for the Swiss points, we do have Babatu at the very top with 2 Swiss points. A few others in tow, including Lizdek, Sven, Souffle Pancake, and Chino, but there's still more information to come here. And, of course, OPP points matter as well. So, we'll see how things go. Gonna refresh it one more time, just on the off chance that anything has changed. All right, yeah, just all right so far. Let me go back to building here. So, oh, luckily it saved it. So for the Chaos Orbs, up against Nurgle, not too bad of options here. So the Demon Tongue, great here with a little flamethrower attack, and then the Leadership, the Burnt debuff as well. Do great into Marauders, do great into any demon units in general. Put them in that demonic stability. Just gotta be careful with it. Obviously, it could take a lot of damage very quickly, as you saw with the original Iron Demon. Magma Cannons are also great here if you decided to take one, but maybe, I wonder. Hard to say. Magma Cannon could be pretty good at helping you clear infantry and just shooting at throwing axes, but can be very susceptible to Furies and anything else in the back line that the Nurgle player throws at you. So, especially with that low HP pool at 4,500 and that low leadership at 55, can be shut down very quickly. So I kind of like the Fire Glaives a little more in this case, but they are fairly expensive at 1,200, and at the end of the day, they are an infantry unit, so they can't be like if they're being attacked, they can't continue being forced to shoot if they have a bunch of Furies in their face. So, and they can't fight back Furies fast with only these stats, but they will hold them off. Hard to say. Let's see here. Mortals could be okay, but I'm not too sure about them. If you wanted to maybe take another Kadai Fireborn, you could. That wouldn't be a terrible option. You need some mobility. Bring in some Wolf Raiders. The Sneaky Gits, good choice as well. Very fast, very good anti-infantry to fight back any maybe Plague Bearers, maybe fight back any Nurglings. I don't think they will win against Plague Bearers because of the massive HP difference and the leadership of the Sneaky Gits, but still worth it. And then maybe you need some anti-large. There we go. Not bad. Maybe cut some Sneaky Gits if you so chose and decided to like bring more infantry or something. You bring 2 more of the laborers. But maybe you wanted some armor. Maybe you need a single entity. Maybe you need... I think that the Kadai Destroyer could be okay here as well. You just got to keep it away from the throwing axes. If you wanted to say maybe bring something to heal up your Kadai Fireborn or your Demon's Tongue, could bring just the generic Demonsmith Sorcerer, just Reforge. Could... I think taking out the Wolf Boys is great. Tough. I need 200, so we could take out maybe I have to take out the Wolf Boys, unfortunately. Maybe bring in another unit of skirmishers or archers. Tough call. You could bring another... There we go. Something like that, maybe. Need the ogres, bull renderers, just on the off chance that maybe like you see some Toad Dragon or something. Could be anything. Could be 10 minutes Toad Dragon. Could be could be just dealing with Bile Trolls. Could be dealing with Rot Riders, Rot Knights. Yeah, not too bad there. Let's check the brackets once again. All right, just gotta wait for one more. So, another thing I want to go over, I suppose, is for Bretonia. I'm not a Bretonia player like Blood Penguin is, but the reason, like, something. So, the reason Pegasus Knights in general I'm not a big fan of, so because of like their low mass, they only have 1300. So a lot of their like they have like their multi-mass entity unit, so a multi-unit entity. So excuse me, multi-entity unit. So that what that means is that they have multiple entities in their unit. So a lot of them. So 24 in this case. So 24 of those models, you lose like 3 or 4 of them. Okay, not too bad. But then it starts to amount very quickly, specifically because Pegasus Knights get stuck very easily with their low models. Like with their tiny models. They're just horses with wings at the end of the day. So, and with their melee stats, only 32 melee defense and only 80 armor, those models will die very quickly, even if they get stuck in chaff. So, not a huge fan of them. But against demons, if I wanted to bring some more flammability, say I felt that I needed that speed, Pegasus Knight's much better. It is 500 more, fortunately, but they do bring you magical attacks. They do have a little bit more HP at 480, and some decent stats all around. But one thing that's more important for the Royal Pegasus Knights is they are ITP. Plus, they have the word from the Blessing of the Lady, so making them a little bit more tougher against whatever Tzeentch or the demon faction throws at them. But in general, I think Grow Guardians, Grow Knights, incredible here against Tzeentch or any demonic faction. The Grow Knight's going to be great at trading against any large targets, any cav. Grow Guardians could do great against Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch, Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, etc. And even do great against just regular demon infantry units or demon cav, if they're not specialized to fight back against other cav, like the Rot Knights. So, those are your options there. And in case you do bring those elite units, definitely worth bringing a life caster, just so you can heal them with Earthblood. Or, if you're going with Royal Pegasus Knights, you could probably go with Earthblood, but I'd probably just go with Regrowth, just because they're just that expensive and more important. But if you have multiple of them, say, it might be worth just bringing the it might just be worth bringing Earthblood, because you can hit all of them at once. So those are the options that, oops, I just realized I have the browser capture on. Yeah, Earthblood for the Damsel. For Pegasus Knights, they have the ITP, Vanguard, Perfect Vigor, and then Blessing of the Lady, and then magic attacks as well, which bypasses demon physical resistance, and they won't help you against Chaos Warriors. It'll still be, you don't directly want the Royal Pegasus Knights fighting Chaos Warriors, but if you get a cheeky rear charge in them, there's nothing wrong with that. They'll do okay. But you don't want them in sustained combat, because they don't have that great of AP, and they're more specialized against large targets. But yeah, Earthblood, fantastic if you want to hit like multiple units, though for more specialized healing for like elite units like Royal Pegasus Knight, Regrowth is my main go-to, just to heal them up, because they're just that important. They're very expensive, so. But yeah. Get some water. All right, seems the round can be advanced. We're going to advance the Swifts once again. So on to round 3. Thank you, Azuka, once again, for their friendly reminder. All right. Let's go in to find another match. Okay, let's check a look at those points real quick once again. See how things change, if at all. So pretty even all across right now. We have 2 leading with 2 Swiss points each. Lizek, 1-1-1 for the rest. So at any point could any of these players make that 3rd or final spot. 2 more rounds left. So see how things go. Let's find a game. See. Oh, let me give somebody a gold template. Should have a Swiss point. Let me do that real quick. They have a Swiss point from nearby. So let me do that. Wonderful. So should have their Swiss point now. Be up there with the greats. Yep. You're all great, but you know, my point. Souffle Pancake as well should have one. Did they win anything from their second bout? Yes, they did. So should have 2 Swiss points. All right, let's give them that 2nd Swiss point. Wonderful. All right, and then we'll go and catch a game. Let's message somebody. Got a direct message. Souffle Pancake. Let me message this person. All right, yeah, we're doing pretty good here so far. Thank you for tuning in. Let's look at the things now. Okay, we have 3 people leading right now with 2 Swiss points each. Now, Lazuka here with 5 OPP points. So if they're all still struggling with the 1, or they go up there with 2, they could just break out of it. Out of making it into the semifinals with their 5 OPP points. But we'll see, we'll see. Let's find a game here. I believe we have 3 whole tourneys today. Mine, Anticities, and then turns. And then I'm sure there'll probably be one later maybe as well. Because it's still early in the day. All right. Just one moment. We'll get right into it. If this person doesn't respond, there's a few others I can join into. It's perfectly fine. There we go. Cool. Oops. All right, we do have one. It's going to be Baba Tunde. I could be wrong there, up against Shino. You know, rocking those vampire counts. Let us close this. There we are. That blocker up is going to be on that Imperial Ambush. Very good map. Very, very solid map. I always love to see games on this one. It is very straightforward. You got just a center line, a point right in the center, and then on the two the 2 capture points are both for close to each other's deployment zone. So it's gonna be a real fight over the center point. Or if you want to go for if you're on a more mobile faction like the Wood Elves, you could try ambushing and maybe trying to go for their back point and letting vampire counts stay on that middle point because... Wait, am I thinking of the wrong map? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong map. I haven't seen Imperial Ambush then. I'm thinking of Imperial Road. There we go. Imperial Ambush is different. I haven't seen Imperial Ambush. Ooh. Wait, is this it? No, yeah, I haven't seen Imperial Ambush. Okay, cool. Then I will change what I was about to say. Sort of similar in terms to Imperial Road. But, interesting. Both little points here, right in the center. Or, not in the center, but a little bit... Oh, Bobby Shmurda has been dropped from the game, unfortunately. What happened there? Oh, Baba crashed, apparently. Crashed. We'll get right back into it. We'll see. But against vampire counts, so vampire counts pretty dominant right now from what I saw. Let me check the total tavern stats. Yeah, the vampire counts 56%. They're not as high up as I last saw, which was like they were like around 2 or 3 on the leaderboard, but now a little bit further down. Maybe players are starting to counter what the vampire counts bring, especially with the Vikings now being easier to snipe out, which, you know, I completely understand dumb players wanting that. They can be very annoying to see them get knocked down on occasion, but instead of taking damage, so they could be pretty oppressive and dumb, especially with as opposed to like land battles where there's a limit on duplicate items, so you can't take double Scab Scraith, but in Dom you can't. So pretty oppressive, and they're pretty decent fighters as well. So taking that HP nerf might have hit vampire count strats a bit, I heard that they're a lot easier to snipe out now. So maybe players are starting to learn to play against vampire counts a little bit more easier. Maybe vampire counts are struggling a little bit more. Either way, they're still in the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're in number 6, right below Zinch. Literally a 1-game difference. Zinch has 50 to 38 over 49 to 38 against the vampire counts. So 57% win rate on those Zinch. 56 for vampire counts. Pretty insane. But yeah, doing pretty good here. I would think maybe of giving the Wood Elves an upper leg here simply because it's because of your mobility advantage. But the vampire counts, if you have to fight them on the point, it's going to be a drag down fight. It's going to be a very, very drag down fight. Very bad for the Wood Elves. But again, mobility advantage for the Wood Elves. Should do pretty good. We'll see. Yeah, as I'm looking at the faction stats, let me pull those up for you guys real quick. You can already see right off the bat, I'm looking at it now. Vampire counts struggling pretty badly against the Wood Elves. 0 and 5. Seems like that's exactly what their counter is. But we're talking about new player tournaments here. Things could turn around. Vampire counts could get that 1 up on the Wood Elves. Could finally get that 10% win rate. We'll see. We shall see. Hopefully we don't see another crash here. Take down the blocker. Yeah, I haven't seen this map actually. It's just similar to, what is that map called? It's like a night one. It's like a, is it Britannia themed almost? I can't remember. But either way, the point is that you get these 2 points here. You're going to be deploying from both sides here. It's going to be a battling for these two mainly, I think, here, as the let's see. So get the vanguards here on both sides. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Haven't seen this map used at all, so very excited to see how things play out. But let's go over the armies real quick. Do have Drycha here. Very formidable, very hard to take down if you don't have like an infantry size character, and she's quick. Well, she's not quick, but like she's slippery. She has 43 speed, pretty decent armor at 80 with 80 leadership. She's got that that just Dryad summon, which is really nice. Only one use out of it, but with those magic attacks from the Dryad, they can do pretty good against some of the, like, if on the off chance like Hex Raids are brought, they'll do great against them. But even if not, they'll still pretty much kill any like low tier chaff infantry as the Vampire Counts brings. So very good here in this matchup. Whole bunch of Dryads, all vanguarded up. Very good to beat Vampire Counts to those points as quickly as possible. Any little point matters. Any small amount of points matters. Starfire Shafts, we got 2 of those bad boys. Got magical and flaming attacks, and then pretty nice AP options. So they can, like, say, delete corpse carts very quickly. They can do incredible amounts of damage to like a dragon character. Very, very good. And then we have 2 Glade Captains. Interesting. They do have Dance of Loic. Interesting. Gives that +5 melee defense to each other. Anti-large fighters. And yeah, they don't have that great of missile strength at only 250. Interesting. Very interested to see what this tech is like. See how it operates. We have a Glade Rider unit as well. Just a single one, a skirmish variant. The Vampire Counts. We do have a Von Karstein Vampire Lord on horseback. Horseback Von Karstein. Here with Flock of Doom, Raise Dead, Invocation, and his Storm of the Night ability. Very good against any of those Hawk Riders in case they're brought. But in general, against any flying characters, if the sisters are brought, very, very good. Slows them down, does a decent amount of damage. Just overall very good from his side. And he's a decent fighter, 70-45. He's very durable. Double White King continued to still be brought, both double Scab Wraith. Infantry, which is going to be a whole bunch of zombies and skeleton spearmen. We do have the consigned stalkers as well, including the Stearnsman Graveguard RRR. Very, very good. Going to fight back the Dryads very easily with their decent armor at 90 and pretty good melee stats at 45, 34. With that bonus versus infantry of 8. Corpse card as well. A few of those bad boys. Right off the bat, we see that Storm of the Night going down, hitting both those Glade captains. Maybe expecting a tactic like this. Doing pretty good. Hey, but look at that. Their missiles are mounting up pretty quickly. I mean, those anti-large shots, or rather, not even anti-large shots, they're just regular shots. Doing pretty okay. They're chipping away at them. Already down to 3,700 HP from 4,600. Pretty good. One Glade Captain is going to start running away here from the Fell Bats. I'm not sure how they'll do it in sustained combat, but either way, they have the Glade Guard. They fly back to their Glade Guard to get that support, fire support, and they're going to delete those guys very quickly. Melkos going down, shredding those guys very, very fast. But it does screen them out for a little while, so at least there's that. Glade Riders get summoned in with spears to screen out the Dire Pack, or maybe catch them out as they try to chase down the Glade Riders, very quickly summoned in by the Wood Elves. Another unit of Fell Bats being sent in, and Wood Elves said they will easily eat that value very, very easily. They do not care. They will munch on those Fell Bats so quickly without a single guess. Fell Bats do finally get into melee combat, but Glade Guard are okay fighters. They can hold themselves for a little while Drycha catches up, throws some Melkos on them, or Enfeebling Foe rather, bring down to 0 melee attack, and will fend them off very quickly. The Vampire Counts does end up catching that Glade Rider, tricking, or rather baiting the Wood Elf player in with those Glade Riders, or rather with the Dire Pack to bring in the Fell Bats to encircle around the Glade Riders to get a surround on them and shut them down. Very nicely played by the Vampire Counts player. Invocation going down in the Von Karstein Vampire Lord as he's continuing to take sustained shots this entire game. It's not very doing a whole lot, as they only have 250 missile strength with 67 of it being AP and 110 AP with bronze shields as well. It's not surmounting too much. At this point, I think I'd probably just rather shoot at the corpse carts instead with only 45, but I mean the Starfire shafts should clear them out very quickly, so I don't know. I don't know about the dual Glade Captains. Maybe it's some tech that I haven't been paying attention to with Wood Elf games, but those low AP missiles aren't doing too much, honestly. Dryads do get fought back by the zombies, the White Captains. Mostly the White Captains there. White Captains are going to turn around to start fighting Drycha, she is an infantry-sized character, so that bonus for his infantry will kick in there and do some pretty good work. So Drycha's got to be careful. She's got to be careful. Those Glade Guards are going to take an overcasted Flock of Doom, going to do some pretty decent damage to chip away at them. A zombie summon coming in here to possibly try to surround Drycha, or I think it's probably maybe to screen out the Glade Guard. I don't know. Either way, Feasters in the Dark Dusk summoned in to capture point 2 right now. Both points captured by... Oh no, it's going to do 1 point. There we go. Now it's captured by Vampire Counts. So 2 points captured by Vampire Counts. They're going to start catching up in points as the Wood Elves are in lead at almost 400 up against their 200 from the Vampire Counts. So, pretty close game so far. Well fought from both players. Glade Riders summoned in here to try to fight back the zombies. Maybe even screen out the White Kings from taking out Drycha. A Melkoth coming in there on the Stearnsman. Going to be pretty cost effective, but the regen is going to start soaking that back up. So bringing their health values back up. So, but any damage helps with dealing with the Stearnsman. Some Crypt Horrors being summoned in. That heavy AP, hard-hitting poison monstrous infantry unit will be able to deal with any cav that they're able to get their hands on if they don't take the charge. An overcasted Invocation is going to miscast. They're doing some damage to the Von Karstein Lord, but he is regenning. So he should be okay. One Glade Captain is caught out, unfortunately. What does that value look like on that one? Almost 1,000. Didn't do too great, but it's not too bad either. These Glade Riders gonna go around the Feasters in the Dusk, possibly chased out by the Fellbats. I'm not sure. Glade Riders, unfortunately forgotten about, need to be brought over, maybe to help assist with these Fellbats, maybe to get around to try to start contesting point 3. But there are some Graveguard there. Hopefully, maybe brought some AP infantry options of some sorts from the Wood Elf side. The Storm of the Night ability going down, slowing down those Glade Guards, and slowing guard that Glade Captain, excuse me, so she's able to catch on to the Fellbats. But it also does a little bit of chip damage as well. But Fellbats do end up getting caught out there as they try to chase down those Glade Riders and get shut down. Vampire counts are being pretty oppressive right now on point 3 and point 1. Finally going to start catching it, and they do capture it from the Wood Elves now, unfortunately for them. So Vampire counts doing incredibly well here, and as I said, this could be the game here. This could be the one match where the Vampire counts finally get a game up against them on the leaderboard. Actually, unfortunately, new player tournaments don't count for stats, faction stats. Actually, do they? They don't, unfortunately. Or that's the leaderboard, I can't remember. Either way, the point is that Vampire counts do have a Wood Elves do have a chance. It's just that, oh, I got it in reverse. Excuse me. Let me check the stats here again. Check 1 second. Yes, so the Vampire counts have a 5 up against the Wood Elves. Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, Vampire counts are just very, very oppressive. If you don't have anything to deal with the massive amounts of infantry, which Wood Elves are going to struggle against despite their mobility, it's very tough for them. But I mean, as you saw from Anticity with the Wood Elves, a full infantry rush, I think anything is possible for sure. But yeah, I mean, Fellbats are extremely oppressive. The massive swabs of infantry from the Vampire counts on 2 points like this that are very close, very oppressive as well. Maybe on a different map, maybe Wood Elves have a bit more better of a chance. Zoats do finally come in here. But they're just fighting infantry, crypt ghouls, so not exactly their best, most intended target. More suited for, say, fighting dragons or any cav, Vampire counts cav that they can catch out. But unfortunately, or cryptors, specifically cryptors, they could do good against as well. Cryptors, 2 of the models, as they disintegrate, are just fighting the Glade Guard, who are getting some decent shots into the swordsman, but they have those silver shields, so unfortunately mitigating quite a bit of that damage. Point 1 still is being contested at the moment by the Wood Elves with the Blade Singers, or Warrior Dancers, excuse me. Blade Singers was what I was trying to think of earlier that could deal with the Glade Guard, or excuse me, the Grave Guard. But unfortunately none are brought. War Dancers, I wonder how they would do. They only have 14 AP, but that's still 14 AP. It's not bad. You say maybe if they got a rear charge on those Stearnsmen, they could probably kill them, especially with how beat up they are now. But they're starting to finally possibly take this point. These War Dancers doing great against the infantry, the chaff of the Vampire counts. Maybe sending the War Dancers there to free the Glade Guard are the best choice here, because they desperately need to be free. Those missiles need to be used elsewhere. Dryads being unsummoned to be resummoned once again, possibly point 2. There is a bit of leeway here for the Wood Elves here to catch to that point. If they sent those Glade Riders, unfortunately forgotten about, they could capture it, or they could deal with the Dire Pack, then immediately come over here to capture point 2. The Crypt Ghouls are getting so much value here, just fighting the Zoats. Only 400 here on the Zoats here, and 50 and 349 here on them. Sending these Glade Riders to interrupt here or attack, rear charge these Dire Pack would be great to free up the Zoats, because the Zoats definitely need to be out of there dealing with other stuff. Not there, or being at least supported by infantry. Vampire counts player playing this well here. They're sending their infantry to the very edges of the box here, keeping the infantry of the Wood Elves out. The Dryads need to push past. But unfortunately, do they have some catcherway here? I don't think they do, unfortunately. Yes, they're just slightly on the point, so I think they are putting some capture weight, but there's just so much infantry here from the vampire counts that it's going to be very hard to scrap it back from them. Dryads do make their way to point 2, almost 1,200 points here for the vampire counts. Not looking great here for the Wood Elves, but do they have a chance here? Do they have a chance? I'm not sure. Hard to say. I think vampire counts are going to be able to hold on to point 3. That's one of the things that they're really, really good at, is just holding on to that last single point, because they just can spam out so much infantry with their really low cost infantry. So, unfortunately, I think it's going to be hard to take this back. Wild Hunter's looking for a chance to catch out those Cryptors, but there's just so many spears here to screen out those Wild Hunters. They do run over those skeletons because they don't have that much mass, but now they're going to be caught out here. Skeletons dragging them down. Cryptors do get caught out, possibly putting them into crumbling. They do start crumbling. Very nice. But Conquest Stalkers are here now. We do have a Flesh to Stone going down. It's very nice on the Wild Hunters. Going to be mitigating 60%, 80%, thanks to their already base of 20%. So they're going to be mitigating a lot of damage from the Spearmen and the Cryptors. That's a very nice Flesh to Stone. Well casted there from the Wood Elves. Very nice. A Mel cost going down on those Spearmen, so it's beating them back. Trying to, but they are, again, anti-large support units rather than infantry clearers. So it's going to be tough to clear all of this out. But if they can, they will definitely take this game. They just really need to clear this out. There's just so much that they need to clear out. If they got some more infantry on the point here, we do have some Dryads coming in here. They need to squeeze right through that gap. Squeeze right through that gap, get on the point. Cap weight is starting to go in the favor of the Wood Elves. We do have some more Glade Riders coming in as well to support. These Felbats are going to try to jump in on the ranged units, or I don't know what they're actually going to try to do. Hopefully they don't kill Turicha, but maybe the leadership of the Wood Elves won't be too big of an issue. The Wild Hunters, unfortunately, finally succumbing to the amount of damage that they've taken. Flesh of Stone wearing off. Are going to start routing from the point, and that means the cap weight needs to get through, freaking get through. But oh no, the Vampire Counts player is holding them off so well. Unfortunately, the Felbats keeping them in place. Dryads pushing past. If the Glade Riders can slip in there, but there's just so little time here with only 130 points left here that the Vampire Counts need to hold on for. Oh, this is a very, very close game. Very close chance here. 3 zombies coming here. I think if the Wood Elf player sends in one of these Glade Riders, they could hold back this entire mass of zombies. Keeping them from the point would be so excellent. But I don't think the Wood Elf player is going to do it. They do get to point. They do capture the point. So 3 capture points for the Wood Elves. This is a lot of points to have to make up for. But they just need to fend off those zombies from getting to the point. The Dire Pack make it there. Soch trying their best to hold off, but they need to get past this. You can't let a single Spearman unit hold back all 3 of these units. Glade Riders need to make their way over, unsummon these Glade Riders, or just bring them over. Why not? I'm not sure. But more needs to come to help fend off these zombies from getting to the point. Unfortunately, as soon as they're getting to this point, I think the capture points might start changing here. They weigh at about 2 each, if I'm correct. Let's see here. So 4.5 is 5 for a full infantry unit. Zombies have 2. Yes, 2, 4, 6, 8 here up against some. There's 5 from the Dryads, 10 here. What else do we have here? Some Conquest Stalkers. We have some Disintegrating Graveguard. Once the Graveguard, however, disintegrate, that's 5. Or actually, they're only at 1.0 because they're how so low they are. So I think the Wood Elves might just be able to hold on to this. But can they hold on to it long enough that the Vampire Counts player is not getting any points at all? If this is any indication as to where this game is going. We do have some Blood Knights coming in here. They do have that full 4.0 capture weight. I think the Wood Elves might be able to just scrap it back. Take the win. We'll see. I have another zombie unit coming here. It's another 2 points of capture weight. Blood Knights come in there, still in favor of the capture weight for Wood Elves. Glade Riders and Glade Guard continue to provide firing support as well. These zombies are going to be cleared out eventually. Slowly, but eventually. Glade Riders being dragged down here. More zombie summons, more skeletons coming in. If there's anything the vampire counts can do, it's just continue swarming with infantry. Maybe the Fellbats being sent in to deal with Glade Guard could help, but I think the Wood Elves might just freaking have this. They just need to continue summoning more infantry. The Glade Riders being sent in to try to countercharge the Blood Knights, but they will obviously win that very quickly. They're going to start pushing in past, try to clear out this missile support from the Wood Elves. Might just be able to give them that leg up on them, but they seriously need more infantry here just to counteract all these missiles that they're losing. So maybe send in one of the Dryads over here, but I understand the precaution of trying to keep both here to fend off any potential wolves from capturing it. So yeah, there we go. So the Wood Elves, the Vampire Counts player is going to bow out there, and that's a very nice comeback there from the Wood Elves. Very well played. So freaking close. Oh my god, I almost had written off the Wood Elves, giving it to the Vampire Counts, but no. Wood Elves were able to scrap it freaking back with that third point being captured. So close. So incredibly freaking close for both players. My god, extremely well played to both of them. 1391 from Drycha. She did amazingly well despite almost being caught out there by the double Vikings. 1417 and 954 in the Glade Captains. Not too bad there. I did not know what to expect from them, but they were able to constantly chip away at the von Karstein Vampire Lord, forcing him to have to use his Winds of Magic to regen himself, forcing him to constantly have to stay in like his blobs of infantry to try to avoid some of those shots. Which is very, very oppressive against them despite their low AP values. Glade Guard did okay, or rather this one did okay, 400 value, 1475 on the other. Some fantastic targets with both the Grave Guard and some of the Corpse Carts were easily sniped out. And then, of course, the Cryptors as well. Very susceptible to missile fire. 1521 here on the Glade Guard, Starfire Shaft, and 1440 on this one as well. I didn't even see the Way Watchers, or rather the Deepwood Scouts. Deepwood Scouts did fantastic. 150 kills here. 1492, almost 1500 essentially. Really, really good. Provided some very well-needed missile support where their infantry was struggling. For the Vampire Counts, let's see here. 2175 on the von Karstein Vampire Lord. Really nice Storms of the Nights. And it's some pretty good indications. I'm trying to think of what else. Flocks of Doom. Very, very good as well. But 1672 and 1230. Yeah, despite their HP nerfs, the Vikings still proven pretty good for value, especially with their Scab Scraths. But just overall, pretty good at helping clearing out chaff. I mean, they fought back some of the infantry, some of the Dryads from the Wood Elves by just supporting zombies. Just those two supporting zombies were able to clear out Dryads. So very, very good there. Glade Guard did fine. The Star's been kind of picked apart after they got left alone. Everything else, the Dire Pack fantastic despite like 3 or 4 resummons. Did incredibly well there. Really nice chasing off those skirmish calf from the Wood Elves. Blood Knights called in maybe a little bit too late there, but if anybody wasn't able to clutch that out, it would have been the Blood Knights, forcing back those missile infantry and missile cav. Because they would definitely have been able to clean up that entire back line from the Wood Elves. Man, that was such a close match. I cannot believe that somehow the Wood Elves managed to scrap that back. Had no idea that that was going to happen. My god. And that's so freaking funny. I was thinking earlier when I had like, thinking of the stats, I was thinking that despite my mix-up, that the Vampire Counts, that the Wood Elves were going to continue losing Or no, actually, so I did get mixed up. So vampire counts struggled at 0 to 5 against wood elves. I got it mixed up originally. I think I got it mixed up twice. At first, I thought that the wood elves were losing constantly against the vampire counts. And then I got into game, and then I got it mixed up in my head. I thought the vampire counts were the dominant ones. Yeah, either way, the point is that I was right originally. The mobility from the wood elves is just so very hard for the vampire counts to contest against, because they're more focused around keeping a lot of their infantry around their corpse cards, keeping their infantry around their white kinks, and less focused on the mobility game. A lot of their mobility is unfortunately in wolves, which can be easily dispatched by glade riders. Their blood knights, which are fairly expensive and can be shot down by the massive amounts of missile infantry, and possibly dealt with by zotes, though so much less zotes because they're not as cost effective as the missiles from the wood elves. So yeah, just the mobility from the wood elves helps out tremendously in this matchup, forcing the vampire counts to have to try to play their game instead of the other way around, because vampire counts are so good at forcing other factions to have to fight them on the points, while the wood elves can reverse it, force them to have to deal with their mobility, which the vampire counts struggle to contest with. War dancers go brr. Yeah, exactly. War dancers clear out so much of the vampire counts infantry. It's insane. Really well played there, Shino. I was clenching for you. I was freaking clenching for you. It was such a struggle, such a good match. Definitely one of the best matches of this tournament so far. Both of you guys played so incredibly well. You should be proud of yourself. I don't know how. Again, I've been out of the Dom scene for a little while. Is Double Glade Captain like a meta in this matchup, or is that like something? Is that some like special tactic, or is that just something Bobby Shmurda thought up? Yeah, that was extremely oppressive. Yeah, the Von Kyrson camp Vampire Lord had no chance, like continuously just being sniped out. Sniped at, rather. Slowly being chipped away. At first, I thought it wouldn't matter. At first, like it wasn't. At first, I thought it wouldn't be that oppressive. Let me check the brackets real quick while I ramble. At first, I thought it wouldn't be that oppressive because of how low the like AP values were, but just a constant small chipping, and then the leadership penalty from being shot at the entire time, obviously, right? And then just like the perfect accuracy every time, because they homing missile on the Lord. It's very, very impressive. Let me move on to the fourth and final round for you guys. Advance the Swift. Got a bot in the chat, a little freaking Slanesh bot or something. Let me post it in the announcements. Sorry about that. I must have been late. Goblins. Oh, hey, my game. Hey, my game crashed in the middle of the match. Seemed unfortunately, Lazuka had a crash from their opponent. Thanks for playing, Sven. Yeah, pretty good so far, the tournament. Let me drop Sven. They unfortunately are not playing anymore. Drop. So instead, I will match up. Let me make sure. So Shino, have you played against Iron Condor? Shino, have you guys played against each other before? Doesn't seem so. Okay. So let me match you up. So Iron Condor and Shino, we just go up against each other. Let's see, Shino. Condor. What hippopotamus? Please give me yours. I think I've seen it before, but it was scary. Yeah, it was a very, very interesting tactic. Okay. Shino versus Iron Condor. All right, there we go. That should be fixed. Let me just do this. All right, that should be fixed. I don't know, I haven't played this game in years. Did you used to play Warhammer 3? A Wild Hippopotamus? Oh, your name is Awad Hipposcotamus. I see. It's funny. Let's see. We do have an RTK Hippo. Not RTK, Rat Clan Hippo. I don't know if that's you. I'm pretty sure it's not because Hippo I think still plays, so. Let me see here. I think all fixed. Okay, yep. Make sure points are all good. Renataki deserves another point. Yep. Give them a point. Do this real quick. And then we'll just find another game. One moment. Who should we watch again? Let's see. We'll just hop into the first one we see. All right. Hitman Hippo. That's what I was thinking of. Mountain of Truth and... Let's do this one. Okay, we are seeing the dwarf player once again. It'll be up against Zinch. Very interesting. Very interesting to see how this match goes. On the Mountain of Truth. Again, another map I haven't seen yet. Very, very interested to see what it looks like. I think the only one I've seen so far that I've listed is the Changer's Madhouse and Otsuchi Castle. Two of them. So the four round ones, I haven't seen. I figured for the semifinals and finals, I would just go with the ones that I already know. But these are all pretty good. I like the ones that I've listed so far. All right. Pause this. Wonderful. So I hope everybody who's played today, obviously you're probably in your own rounds, but I hope everybody who's played today, if you're here, that you've had plenty of fun. I will definitely try hosting more new player tournaments again, if people, will play in them. It's kind of hard because, Turin hosts their tournaments, Anticity hosts their tournaments, and new players are obviously welcome in those. Oh, I have seen this one. I know this one. Never mind. This one's cool. I like this map. But obviously new players are welcome in those. But at the same time, you're playing against intermediate, playing against very good players like Anticity, like insanely good players like Anticity. So, you know, I think it's nice to have new players play against each other, you know, practice, spar a bit with people on their own level. But sometimes people kind of, you know, prefer playing against stronger players to like learn to learn. Like, it's just like how they work better. And, you know, those are typically the more populated tournaments as opposed to new player tournaments, which don't get as many, you know, because it's more centered for only new players. So it's tough, but I'll try to host more if people continue to join them. Syrian Doom, Final Transmutation. Especially consider I want this game to continue living for another couple years. As many years as possible, because I freaking love this game. It's just like, you know, it's really hard to get new players into it. But let's go over the armies. We have a Chaos Sorcerer Lord on a horse. Mr. Horse Sorcerer Lord going to be casting Syrian Doom and Final Transmutation. Pretty good against the Chaos Dwarves. With that, Syrian Doom has pretty good AP at 33% and just really solid damage. Really good at bunched up infantry like Chaos Dwarves, infantry models, and then like Fire Glaives, etc. Final Transmutation will punish any Bull Centaur renderable blobs, etc. Will do really, really good there. Overall, though, for the rest will be infantry-wise, it'll be Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch with some halberds. We got some Zangors as well, very fast mobility, and some skirmishing from horsemen as well, which will be able to do some pretty decent damage back into the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders if they can get in their range. The Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders need to stay back, abuse their range of 140, which is insane, almost Wood Elf level. So you got to keep back, max range, shoot at a horse archers, and maybe get like a magma cannon or something, artillery piece, to continuously whittle away at that flamer, because the flamer will do insane amounts of work. Already at 33 kills, 400 of value so far. So you got to be careful with that guy. That guy can do insane amounts of work. Horsemen getting some fire into the other Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders, or actually right now into the Blazing Beards. They do take a volley of blasting charges, which does some pretty decent damage, and then the Fire Glaives are now here. So hopefully these Fire Glaives should be able to get an opportunity to shoot at those Exalted Flamer. Definitely got to be very, very careful. I mean, look at that side shot onto the Wolf Raiders. Does a really good damage. I mean, to the point of almost routing it. If they take another shot there, they might just route them. Nope, they do get just out of it, so they don't take that much from the actual sustaining flames there. I think we're scrapping it back, the Chaos Dwarves and the Tzeentch player over point 2. This is the main point 2 contest. The these little points here, they don't generate no victory tickets, but they do give you additional spawn points, these little side points, which would be fantastic against your opponent, being able to flank them, summon stuff out really quickly, get a nice little rear charge on like capturing like these horsemen. If you got a Wolf Raider out really quickly, you're able to capture that out. So very, very good to capture those out. Something summoned in here, a Death Shrieker on that anti-large shot. Could be a good counter against the Exalted Flamer. Very, very good choice to bring in there. And as long as the Tzeentch player doesn't summon out anything quick like Chaos Furies, which they do end up summoning out. Whoa, what is this? A Plague of Rust going down on the halberds. Very nice. I didn't even talk about the caster for the Chaos Dwarves. You got a Sorcerer Prophet here with Syrian Doom and Plague of Rust. Hey, another metal caster. Instead, this one has Plague of Rust instead of Final Transmutation. The Plague of Rust doing really good here against the halberds, bringing them down to 60 armor from 100. So as you can see, very good for the Blazing Beards. Going to be pushing back those Chaos Warriors, which normally it wouldn't be as good of a fight for them. Another shot coming in there on the Exalted Flamer does some very good damage. I love the Death Shrieker here, but seeing those Chaos Flames coming from so far away, they definitely are going to be able to protect their Death Shrieker easily. But it's actually not Furies, it's Screamers. So Furies and Screamers will be a good counter against the Death Shrieker. Oh no, please don't tell me. Oh no, they're going to send their Wolf Raiders to countercharge the Marauder Horsemen, but they need another Wolf Raider here to fight back those Screamers, because the Death Shrieker is not an easy unit to, rather, like, unit will be shut down very quickly. Only 4,000 HP, and the Screamers are anti-large with magic attacks. The Death Shriekers rely on their physical resistance and their fire resistance. They actually don't have physical resistance, but yes, they have terrible melee stats and will be shut down very quickly. So the Wolf Raiders do get summoned now here to screen out those Screamers. Very good. And now we're going to get another Hobgoblin Wolf Raider here to shut them down. So the Death Shrieker does survive excellent. Now, I didn't talk about this, but the Sorcerer Prophet is an infantry-sized model. He is on foot, so being very not going to be going with a bull centaur like blob style. Instead, we're going for an infantry size, so very hard for the Tzeentchian player to actually do anything against. The Iron Demon is here once again with the base variant. Much better here as they have that again the like machine gun type, like Gatling gun type gun. So very good at heavy AP. So it's gonna be really good against Chaos Warriors and even Zangors as well. Though they're more like open formation, so not going to take as much damage. Fireglaives unfortunately gets shut down. A Searing Doom coming down here on the Zangors, very nice, can do some pretty solid work, even despite them not having that great of armor, or their main intended target. Still pretty good. Unfortunately, losing those Fireglaives is pretty detrimental for the Chaos Dwarves, especially with them only getting 500 value. But no, unfortunately the Exalted Flamer is still alive. They're going to get another shot here on the Chaos. The Infernal Guard, which I didn't even see, got summoned in. It's going to do some pretty good damage against them. That's a lot of value that the Exalted Flamer is going to pick up very quickly if the Death Shrieker doesn't get online again and start shooting. We need that Death Shrieker online and shooting again to finish off that Exalted Flamer. Very low amount of HP at only 400. I think it needs to be shut down, and it gets... The Death Shrieker is back online, but it needs that target. Could I Fireborn summoned in as well? Going to be able to dispatch those Centaurs. Though they are most suited for fighting infantry, they will still do a pretty good job against those Centis. Especially with some help from some Wolf Raiders. At the very least, they'll keep them away from the Death Shrieker. Death Shrieker does have its targeting back online. One shot, I think, will be enough, maybe. The shield's probably going to mitigate some of that damage. The Tzeentchian player notices that they're being that Exalted Flamer is being targeted, and that Death Shrieker model does shut down that Exalted Flamer, dispersing back to the Tzeentchian realm. It is gone. Good. But the Infernal Guard unfortunately took quite a bit of damage in return, same with the Chaos Dwarf Warriors. So, but they're still holding on to the point for point 2. Still going good for the Chaos Dwarves. 379 though, in terms of points for the Tzeentchian side, up against 770 for the Chaos Dwarves. They're hard to take down. The nice part about them being an infantry model here is that they're not going to take a lot of damage from these halberds, and it's going to give them plenty of opportunity to send in that really nice Searing Doom. They're getting insane amounts of value there. What's the value looking like at? 760? Pretty good. The Iron Demon sends a shot into the Screamers, doing pretty okay there despite them being a flying multi-entity model rather than the infantry. A Cockatrice gets summoned in, which that's a pretty haggard choice there. I hate to use Turin's choice of words there, but this unit is arguably one of the worst units in the game. But I mean, maybe it'll do something here. Maybe it'll snipe out Sorcerer Prophet, but I doubt it. I mean, Sorcerer Prophet is a pretty decent fighter at 3342 and has 108 armor to mitigate a lot of that non-AP weapon strength of the Cockatrice, and there's quite a bit of infantry here as well. But you know, Zangors are here, which might just get cleared out by the Searing Doom here. You know, maybe the Sorcerer Prophet here might actually die. Maybe the Cockatrice will finally find its prey, finally find its moment in a freaking game and actually kill something. We'll see here. I think, you know what would be great here? I think the Kadai Fireborn or the Wolf Raiders getting an encirclement on the Cockatrice could actually do pretty good damage, because the Cockatrice has terrible armor at 35, only 38 melee defense, which is not bad for single entity, but still 35. It's only 6,000 HP, so it could die very, very quickly. Not as bad as some of the other single entities like the Death Shrieker, which only has 4,000, but still. Those magical attacks, that insane weapon strength, I think the Kadai Fireborn could actually even kill the Cockatrice despite them being infantry mostly. Wolf Raiders could probably even beat the Cockatrice. But definitely need something to support the Sorcerer Prophet. Keep him in tow. Another bolt coming down here. Another army ability from the Tzeentchian player. Going to be hitting those Infernal Guard. Doing pretty good damage. Wow. That's very nice. Pretty much wiping out the entire rest of that model there. A shot coming in there from the Iron Demon. Again, not doing that great at flying units, especially with how dispersed they are. And now it's being targeted by the Cockatrice and the Screamers. definitely the Iron Demon's probably going to be dead. At the very least, the Chaos Dwarf player is going to lose 0.2, maybe? No, wait, the Zinch player, no! The Zinch player needs to stay on that point! No, they left it! No, the Chaos Dwarf players are going to take it back! No, oh, and then they took 0.1 with a back cap from the Blazing Beards of Bazahurk. I cannot believe that. The one of the units that you would not expect to be going on a flank is a Chaos Dwarf unit, and they actually got to the point and took it. And now they're going to be making their way over to 0.2 to help take that back once again. It still stayed in their hands because the Zinch player didn't stay on the point. But, I mean, to be fair, they're having to try to capture the Iron Demon, and not only that, they're trying to finish off the Sorcerer Prophet, and then having to deal with all its mobility from the Chaos Dwarfs, from the Kadai Fireborn to the double Wolf Raiders. So, arguably, it makes sense. It makes sense, right? I mean, the Fireglaves are shooting in, though, however. They are back, shooting in. They're going to be taking out piece that cockatrice very, very quickly, and doing insane work. Reloading. Can you get another volley off, potentially? Shoot that cockatrice. Will they make it in time before that cockatrice gets away? Pew, 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 pew. Will they shoot their little laser beams? No, instead they're going to shoot at the Screamers, who are going to jump down here, get a Plague of Rust. Going to be fighting those Infernal Guard Fireglaves who doesn't have that anti-large, but the Screamers, I believe, are large. Yes. So they're going to get that bonus of fighting against them, and they're going to be shooting in melee combat as well. Plus, the Kadai Fireborn are here. Those Screamers will be dispatched very, very quickly, very easily. Chaos Dwarves going to take it here. Though, well scrapped back by the Zinchian player, and I do respect the Cockatrice choice, but it is a very, very bad unit. Though it tried its very best to snipe out the Sorcerer Prophet, and it could have, maybe, potentially, but it didn't even get that. Though it's going for its second try. Maybe we'll see here. We'll see if that Zangor can make it. The Death Shrieker continues shooting in at that Cockatrice, takes a missile right to the freaking face, takes it like a Chad, gonna jump down, smack that Sorcerer Prophet fleeing for its life, but oh no, the Cockatrice isn't even fighting, it's humping the Sorcerer Prophet. It's doing the classic flying unit jank thing that they all suffer from. Can it at least get an attack in? Hey, that nice little acid throw up attack, that's pretty cool, but can it at least finish the Sorcerer Prophet off before it dies? I think it might. I think the Cockatrice might actually get a freaking win here. Come on. Come on, don't rout. Don't rout. Kill it. Kill it. Kill him. 300 HP here. Don't rout. And it freaking routs. No, Cockatrice, you bastard. Another bolt coming in there from the Zinch army ability. Almost finishing off the Death Shrieker. Cockatrice doesn't even get that win. That poor guy. Poor Cockatrice. It tried its best. It tried its best, but the Sorcerer Prophet lives! The Sorcerer Prophet will continue fighting for Hashut and possibly turn into stone later on at a different time. You know, the Sorcerer Prophets have relatively short-lived lives compared to other casters, so if it doesn't die here to the Cockatrice, maybe it'll die in the next match because it'll turn into stone after casting too many spells. But let's look at the values here. Pretty good scrap there. Very nicely played. I think that map maybe had a bit of more advantage there for the Chaos Orbs. But I think what Zinchian player maybe needed here was less of a Cockatrice and more maybe a Soul Grinder. Maybe... Gotta think here. Gotta think. You know what I think here would have been good as well? Would it be the Doom Knights? They do have the... They do have that bonus versus large now. It's only 5 or 8. I can't recall. It's pretty small, but they're still pretty good here, I think. They're especially with their bonus versus large now. But in general, I think, again, another case here of mobility is I think Zinch has better mobility with the Zangors making it to the point much faster than the Chaos Dwarf Warriors, Rod of Horsemen. Though they are... worse at trading off against the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders. Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders pretty much were able to screen them out mostly. They did okay, not that great in terms of value though. Like two of them died, only 200, 300 value on each of them. So hard to say. But I think Zinch, like the Exalted Flamer there is fantastic. The Halberds maybe not the best. Maybe I'd go for I think they're okay. I think maybe just regular generic Chaos Warriors are okay as well. But Modern Horsemen did fine. The Eccenticors unfortunately got caught out by the Kandai Fireborn. The Screamers and Furies, if they had like double like surrounded the Death Shrieker, would have shut that thing down very quickly. Especially considering the Wolf Raiders were off doing something else, fighting something else. So, was he really a village? Yeah, a village turning into Green Knight, decapitating that Sorcerer of Profit, and stopping those Searing Dooms and Plagues of Rust. That would have been epic. Cockatree, Screamers did okay, 1,074 and 539, 1,077 on the Furies. Not too bad there. The Weird Spawn could have come in there and did some bit of armor sundering. That would have been nice. 1,020 on the Sorcerer Prophet. Did pretty good there. That Plague of Rust is very, very nice there against the Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch. Hoping those Chaos Warriors fight them back. That was very nice. I like them. I mean, the Chaos Dwarf Warriors. Love that. Love to see some Plague of Rust debuffs. 1,008 on a Hobgoblin Wolf Raider. That is the most I've ever seen ever on a Hobgoblin Wolf Raider. It's insane. Wow, that's incredible. 1,050. To be fair, I think that might have been resummoned. So yeah, 1,050 here on the Fire Glaives, despite them being dispatched relatively quickly. They only had like 400 to 500 value, so they got another 500 when they got resummoned. So still pretty powerful. 1,203 on the Iron Demon. Again, those missiles, those AP missiles are very, very good against the heavily armored infantry of Tzeentch. But as well, the flamethrower variant is also pretty good. So either call, they're worth it. But they rely on their physical resistance. The Iron Demons, I think. They're demonic. Yes, they have relatively low HP pools. They can be focused down really quickly is the point. If you catch them out. 1524 on the Death Shrieker, pretty good. Exactly what the Chaos Dwarf player needed to shut down that Exalted Flamer. It's like perfect for this matchup. Because those Exalted Flamers can do a lot of damage very quickly. Kandai Fireborn, tremendous work. Not that great in terms of like numeric value, but they did great overall. Back, sorry I had to be in a family taxi. No worries, Jared. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Heading off somewhere, watching us on your phone. Let's see here. Let's check the brackets real quick. So for the brackets, they're all finished. We just have one more. Iron Condor and Shino still battling it out here. Did all the Swiss points correct? I think so. Let's see. Baba got one there, one there, one there. Okay. 4-0 from Baba with 4 Swiss points. That is incredible. Really well done there from Baba. And I mean, they are a pretty good player from what I saw. Shino as well, doing pretty great. 3 Swiss points with 8 OPP. Let's see who they were up against. Old Come Play. Up against Orc Sun. Against... Am I missing it somewhere? Oh yeah, up here against Baba. They lost against Baba once, but if they fight him again in the semi or finals, will they be able to take the win back? We'll see. We also have Souffle Pancake with 3 Swiss points. Perfect opportunity for revenge for Shino. But Pancake, make sure you have all your Swiss points. You didn't get a buy or anything, did you? No, you didn't. Oh, you did get 1. But let's see. Souffle Pancake 1. They lost here. 2. Yes, a 3. Okay, yeah. So they're good. Back home making lunch for work tomorrow. Do you get to know what builds the others take, or is it just you see when the match starts? I see when the match starts. Oh yeah, I mean I technically can see, like when we're waiting for them to ready up when they're making their builds, but I tend to just not look and just wait for the match to load, so everybody can like see it all at once, and I can just talk about what's going on. But yeah, I can take like little sneak peeks before the game starts if I wanted to. But I think I just find it more fun in general to see it all together when I load in. See what the player thought up of. Sneaky thing they thought up of. Yeah, Iron Condor and Shino. pretty good tournament so far. Thanks to everybody for playing once again. I'm really glad you guys showed up. Babatunde will probably be graduating to a Saurus. So we'll see. I mean, none of these players are willing to let them take the win so easily. They will fight back. Kila Sunset announcing a Conquest tournament. Very nice. I love me some Conquest. Aaron also has this tournament going on in... Is it like around now? I think it's around now. It's 2:30 for me. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is turns tourney. So in about 20 minutes, so if people want to play in this after, like, immediately after this tournament, after this stream, they can go on ahead. That'd be awesome. There's a lot of players signed up for it. Very nice. No surprise there from Turin's tournaments. Sneak, yes. I like me a sneak pick. Can't go a stream without doing a Skaven impression. Not the best ones, but as best as I could do. Not everyone can be a gleeful little rat, malnourished little rat living underground. Though you know who does fantastic Skaven impressions? The narrator for the Gotrek and Felix books. Man, he is so good at portraying these little malnourished, sneaky little backstabby rats. His voice for it is impeccable. Same for, obviously for, what's his name? His voice actor, Smeagol. Just like perfect fit. Yeah, turns SFT. Oh, I wanted to see, who won Anticity's tournament? Or is it still going? Anakin up there waiting for the result between Aurokron and Seepa. I'm surprised Anticity isn't up there, but to be fair, pretty strong players. Seepa is a very, very strong land battle player and is very strong in Dom as well. They're up against Alric Raw, who's also a very strong Dom player as well. So it'd be a pretty good match. I'm jealous that Anticity gets to cast that. Good scrap. Good scraps nonetheless. Not everyone could be a rat, but anyone could be a human boy. Yes, get it? Yeah, I get it. Human boy, yes. All right, wonderful. We're all done with these brackets. We're going to advance the top 4. See who we get. So, for the top 4, we're going to go ahead with, we got Lizek and Babatunde up against Chino and Souffle Pancake. Let me post this in the Discord. Make sure Lizek versus Baba. I'll put this in the chat so people don't have to all load into the website as well. Versus Souffle. Trooper. All right. So Lizek versus Baba and Shinas. Who do we want to spectate? Who do we want to spectate? Let's see. Maybe do we want to give Shino another chance? And do we want to give Baba? Tough call, tough call. Versus Kislev. We haven't seen Kislev yet. That should be pretty fun. Let us hop in. Yeah, unless this is like an old... Unless this person isn't Kislev anymore. We'll see. It is most likely. So we got... Souffle. What is Souffle Pancake playing? Souffle Pancake is playing Zinch. Shino's playing Vampire Counts. Lizek is playing... Greenskins. Okay, we haven't seen Greenskins. Let's hop into the Greenskins game. If I can get a Greenskins game, I don't know which one that is going to be. Unfortunately, I think Kislev got knocked out. I would love to see Kislev, but I think they got knocked out. We'll just hop into whichever one. I don't know which one is going to be. Maybe it's this one. No, I'll look for... Let's Renataki again. Oops. Okay, let me message one of them. Maybe people might be trying to rush to get to Turin's tournament, which I don't blame them. Let's see here. Oh well, as long as the blood flows. Corn cares not for from whom the blood flows, from where the blood flows, but as long as it flows, Corn will be sated. From Skaven, from Kislev, from Greenskins, from Chaos Dwarves, it matters not. Let's get these semi-finals going for Corn. Not really for Corn. I don't want any Cornates in the chat, please. Shoo, be gone, cultists. You will not sway me. I am a old one follower. Let's see. Might do... Okay, yeah, they're not I don't know which one it is, but it'll be fine. Let's see. I think Liz is... Yeah, okay. Which map is it on? Which map do we have this on? It is on... It'll be Otsuchi Castle, so I gotta look out for that. All right, got the blocker up. Ready to get this going. Tsuchi Castle will be Bobby Shmurda up against Lizek. See how this goes. Wood Elves versus Greenskins. Pretty good matchup, I think. But, okay, so without looking at the total tavern, I'm gonna say Wood Elves favor, but definitely like not that high wood elf there, maybe 60-40 or something. We'll see. Let's check. Let's see how accurate I am there. Probably not accurate at all. We have, let's see here. For the wood elves up against greenskins. Hey, look at that! Wood elves have a 60% win rate against greenskins. I am just brilliant, aren't I? Not really. But yeah, pretty even matchup. Somewhat even matchup. About what I expected. Cool. Obviously, low games to count from, but I expect it'll even out even a little bit more even after more games go. So, out of all the Dino Lords, which would be the closest to being a Corn follower? Let me think about that one. I think it'll probably just be one of the Kroxigor Old Bloods or something, because all the legendary lords are pretty devout, like, worker drones for the Lizardmen. Definitely wouldn't see Krokar there. Definitely wouldn't see Golrock there. He, I would say a like one of the Kroxigor lords. Maybe Nakai, maybe. Trying to think. Yeah, I think one of the Kroxigor, because they're kind of like brutish. The Kroxigor Ancients are like, they're just smart for Kroxies, but at the same time, they're still like, they still have that Kroxigor like bloodlust and like dumb brutishness. They're usually used as like, Kroxigor Ancients can lead armies, but they're at the end of the day, they're still Kroxigors. So they, I mean, Source Old Blood could also work as well, but I don't know. Source Old Blood are just too like worker drone to me. Teeny Weeny or Nakai. Yeah, Teeny Weeny as well. Yeah, that's a good choice right there. Freaking Lizard Moses, dude, just like massacres any Skaven he can see. So yeah, he would murder Skaven for Khorne if it meant less Skaven in the world. So this is who you need on your side. Is freaking Teeny Weeny, absolutely like doing everything he can to obliterate Skaven from the map. Because if it wasn't for them, then the moon would still, exist. So, bad Skaven, be gone, rats. Effigy of the Git, Brain Bursta, and Fist of Gork here on the Pig Rider Warzag with his double Guardian Black Orc Big Boss here to save his hide in case he gets into any trouble. Get a Horror Killing Blow on them and Dragon Slayer's Fang, which will give them some ward save and melee defense, which is pretty nice. Pretty good combatants at 110 armor, 55 melee attack and melee defense. Very solid. And a nice AP value at 270. So if they catch onto one of these like Glade Riders, Glade Captains, they jump down, it could be very detrimental for them. The Sisters of Twilight. We'll continue going over the Greenskins. We got Orc Boys, whole bunch of Orc Boys, and Orc Arrow Boys to screen out some of the dragons and other skirmishing of the Wood Elf side, and some Night Goblins going for 0.3. Wood Elves, we have Glade Captain and the Sisters of Twilight. Glade Captain taking a insurmountable amount of damage there from the Orc Arrow Boys. Got to be careful. That is insane amount of damage. Already down to nearly half HP at 3,000, though they don't have too much in general, just almost 5,000. So makes sense they could be pincushioned that easily. But Sisters of Twilight as well are here. They're going to be nice at clearing out some of that Orc Boy infantry with those Dragon Breath attacks and with those missile attacks as well. Plus they can just sit and snipe in the air at the Black Orc Big Boss or at Warzag. Sniping out Warzag is fairly easy. Black Orc Big Bosses can't protect him from those arrows. So as much as they would like to try, with some Glade Riders summoned in to go to 0.3, some skirmishing from the Glade Riders on the left-hand side of the battlefield, shooting at Night Goblins. And luckily for Night Goblins, they have bronze shield, so mitigating 35% of those missile fire. Very unfortunate for those Glade Riders. Definitely want to be coming over here. They'd be slipping through the cracks and throwing it to melee to fight the Orc Arrow Boys, because I think in general, let's see, at 24-28 with against their, for the Orc Arrow Boys at 14-22, they could definitely beat them in combat. But one Orc boy is centered off, run off even with the Here We Go, Dryads fought them back. Plus, if any magic I missed out, Orc boys, or rather, Black Orc big bosses caught, and Dryads definitely want to get out of there. This is not where they're best at fighting infantry. They're not like White Kings or anything. They don't have bonus for infantry. They're much better at specialized at dueling than they would at just clearing out infantry. Though they'll be okay at it, but they're going to take damage they don't need to. These Orc boar boys get baited in, caught by the Wild Hunters of Kurnus. A very nice catch there from the Wood Elves. Really well played. Liking them, liking how they're choosing to use some of their units here. Fast responses, which is exactly what you need from the Wood Elves. They're a very high micro-intensive faction, so you gotta have those reactions, those good reaction choices. The Goblin Rock Lobbers getting 7 kills so far at 100 in value. What are they shooting at right now? Not the opportune choice, the Glade Captain. Definitely want to be shooting at the more expensive units like the Glade Guard Starfire Shafts. The infantry models, it's exactly what they're meant to be shooting at, not single entities. They're not like homing track. They're not tracking like the Goblin Lobbers. Or not Lobbers, you guys know what I'm talking about, the other artillery piece. That's more better suited for single entity firing. This is more suited for like hitting into a big blob of infantry. So definitely not the best choice here, which is now, look at these two. They're just kind of like best friends holding hands as they ride side by side. What the heck's going on there? Warzak could honestly get a cheeky hit in or two, but definitely doesn't want to be fighting the Gun Captain, who does have anti-large in melee. So Orc big bosses catch out the Sisters of Twilight. She needs to get back up in the air as soon as possible, the both of them, because Here We Go popped on the Black Orc big boss, bringing up to 100 melee attack, but she is on a dragon. She does have the mass to get away. Dryads are going to try to screen out a little bit on the Black Orc big bosses, but they're right on her tail. Might going to get another hit here if the Sisters of Twilight does get routed off. At the very least, they might be able to get back up into the air still, but the Black Orc big boss surrenders chase there, and she's able to get back. They're able to get back up into the sky, which is very nice for the Wood Elves. That could have been very, very bad for them. Nice bell going down, brain burster going down on the Glade Riders, doing some pretty solid damage there. They continue firing in on these blobs of infantry from the Black Orcs, or from the Greenskin side. Some missile fire continuing in from the Sister of Twilight, possibly routing them. It's very nice. Now the -9 leadership, they might just break there. The Wild Hunters get a nice charge there on the Orc Error Boys, shutting down the range components of the Greenskin side. Overall, though, points are in the Wood Elves' capture at the moment, to having a much better chance here against the Greenskins as opposed to the Vampire Counts, able to challenge the mobility game very well. And rather, excuse me, again, I got mixed up. The Wood Elves doing really good here against the Greenskins. Vampire Counts struggled immensely against them. Greenskins scrapping back a little bit more, but the issue here is that the Dragon character is being able to provide that terror. Not only that, but their Black Orc big bosses continuously being caught up by units that are unfortunately doing more damage to them than they need to be taking. Warzag, it's easy to be sniped out against like a faction like the Wood Elves as well, so it's a pretty big issue. I'm not sure if maybe Azag is the right I'm not sure if maybe Azag is the more better choice, because Warzag is just so easily caught out. But he's a really good caster as opposed to Azag, and he has the effigy to get. Azag is a decent caster. You can use Buna to use on like the Glade Guards, which you can get some pretty good value out of. But at the end of the day, he's still a dragon character, so he can provide terror himself, a wyvern rather. So, might be the better choice here. Hard to say. The Broken Tusk mob do get a charge there on the Glade Riders and are fighting them off, and theoretically would beat them fairly easily, but they're getting supporting fire from the Glade Riders as well into their backs, and then the dragon characters coming over, Sisters of Twilight, and that'll turn things around, rout those guys off. Unfortunately, it seems here the Greenskins have lost all their gas. Unfortunately, we do have another Spear Rider, a big one coming in here, which may be able to catch out those Glade Riders if the Wood Elf player isn't paying attention, but much faster in terms of speed at 94 to their 56 from the terrain, but normally base 70. So Orc Piggins are making their way over. However, I think it would be better to send like goblins, like a Night Goblin unit to come capture this, while the Wood Elf player is distracted, but Dryads will dispatch them. So, as opposed to Orc Biggins could fight back the Dryads. So, you know, hard to say. Maybe some Squigs would help out there against the Dryads, but the Glade Riders, you know, pretty good counter against Squigs. The White Hunters catch these Biggins in place. Doesn't matter if they lose the fight, because it buys time for the Sisters to jump in there, start terror routing those Biggins, and immediately they terror route, unfortunately for them. Now, one thing that I wish the Biggin hero characters brought, is maybe, cause I don't know if they brought it or not, was the one that gives their units around them ITP, because that could help out with the Dragon Terror. But in general, once again, the Wood Elf mobility kind of dominates the game there. Though the Greenskins did scrap back as much as possible. Biggins, unfortunately, if they had shut down the Sisters there, if they were able to finish off the Sisters, maybe route her off, maybe they would have had a chance. But unfortunately, once the Sisters got back up, once they lost a lot of their range components, I think things started looking really bad. I think once Warzag was off the field, things turned around way too quickly. But yeah, I mean, it's Nasty Skulkers. I'm not sure how I feel about the Nasty Skulkers. They do have that slowdown effect. They little the smoke grenades. They can slow down any Glade Riders, maybe catch them out with, or Glade Riders like skirmishing, or maybe catch out some range components. But they're very piss poor in melee, so you need another unit to support them. Everything else did alright. The Goblin Rock Lobbers, I'm not a huge fan of them in this matchup. I think maybe if anything, I'd bring the R-War variant if you really wanted some Artillery Priest to pressure their backline, because at least that one provides the leadership debuff. But as long as you're using the Artillery Priest to actually shoot at like infantry, which is what it's meant for, then it's okay. Even Cab is okay, because you're knocking out like 2 or 3 models on occasion. Shoot, like if you were to shoot like them at like the Water Hunters, they could do okay. But the other one is better for it. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, I don't think it's that best in this matchup. Working Tuskmog struggled a bit as well, with only 470 value. Sisters of Twilight did great here with their terror. Their missiles were able to poke at Warzag the entire time and shoot at infantry. Fantastic in this matchup, in my opinion. If only like a good effigy to get on the Sisters, and like a surround with the Broken Tusk Mob, or like catching them out with the 2 Black Orc Big Bosses would have been really excellent. But unfortunately, yeah, Warzag is just too susceptible to being sniped out, even with his bodyguards, especially against a faction with heavy missiles, glass cannon missiles. 1528 here on the Glade Captain. Glade Captains continue to do well. Wow. Again, I haven't been watching too many Wood Elf games lately, but Glade Captains proving to be very, very useful. 1894 and 902. 1894 and the Wild Hunters, fantastic in this matchup. They can fight back any of the Boar Cav if they get the charge. If they don't get the charge, then they will get dragged down very quickly, because of how like low armor they have. I can see Teeny Weeny on a Chaos Shrine and sacrificing vermin, collecting their skulls. I could definitely see that. I can definitely see like a Queek situation where he like starts mounting freaking Skaven skulls on his like on a place on his body. Is it still one I was just at, or I think so. Let me check the just check the bracket, see if the other match is finished. Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay, Lizik. Okay, no, it's not done yet. Souffle and Chino are still going at it. We'll see how that goes. The wall falls this day. the wall will come back even stronger. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, so let's see here real quick. So the greenskins have, in terms of artillery pieces, they do have the Hammer of Gork, which does provide that like blinded debuff. Oh, so it's not a leadership debuff, it's a blinded debuff rather, which is still pretty good, obviously. Might be even better against the ranged components of the Wood Elves because it provides that accuracy debuff, making them little less likely to hit against like your more important units, and then obviously does pretty good damage as well. But in general, it's very easy for like the Wood Elves to pressure your back line, so kind of hard to protect as the greenskins. But at the very least, you have a chance, especially considering you have a lot of cheap like mobility in your back pocket as well, like wolf riders, excuse me, orc boar boys if necessary. So you could protect it, and it is nice to put pressure on the Wood Elf backline, which you're gonna have a much harder time pushing into. So I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. But this is what I'm talking about. Doom Diver Catapult. I couldn't think of the name. Doom Diver Catapults are really good at shooting at single entities, and even shooting at cab as well. They just like have a really good homing on them, so they can constantly just whittle down single entity lords, etc. Like dragons. Shoot at cab if need be, but more better for shooting at single entities for sure. They have pretty decent AP values as well. Not the highest of missile strength. I mean, this is per shot, so 164. Let's see, how much of it is AP? 170. Yeah, so 170 per. Yeah, it's pretty good at targeting single entities. You see that a lot against like Chaos Dwarves or something like that, because you can constantly just whittle down like trains. You can whittle down caster characters like the Sorcerer Prophet. So it's just you have to protect it, and it's kind of really hard to as greenskins when all your units have like the worst leadership, the piss poor leadership. Checking this real quick, checking the bracket, make sure everything's okay. Yep. All right. Doing pretty good so far. Thank you guys for hanging out once again. I'm sure you all guys, I'm sure some of us are rather excited to watch turn as well. This is over. Oh god, the freaking Turin's thumbnail for his stream. A little cute, sad cat with a Grand Cathay helmet. I'm jealous of Turin's thumbnails, they're so perfect. See here. All right, while I wait for the second match for Shino and Souffle, I'm not sure how that match is going at the moment, but as I wait for it, I will go to the restroom. You guys get some water. We'll be right back with the final match. Actually, I'll just leave this here. That's fine. I don't need to. Finals. Why can't I think of words right now? Gosh, fun. Speed spectator slot. Oopsie doopsie. How do I do it again? There we go. So domination, it'll be what map that I have it set to? Change Madhouse? Yeah. All right. Can you see the changeling that change into the changeling? Because that's possibly not. Fortunately not. That would be funny, but unfortunately not. Inception. I mean, you know, it fits, right? Like, it's ancient Inception. Make sure that they don't already have a... I'm supposed to take a break, but I think we're good to go already. I think they already have the lobby up, luckily. Let me do this real quick. Usually but double the cost. Right. I mean, I guess that his like clone ability kind of works that way, right? Like where he has a double of himself. You know, that works. Whoop. What's up, Wolf Warrior? How's it going? How's it going? We're just waiting for the spec slot from the R2 finalists. Oh, I always forget. Who uses 1, 2? Hey, who uses that? That's not right. Blocker. Alright, here we are. Grand finals on the Changers Madhouse. Which one of these players will graduate from a skink status to Saurus Warrior? No longer but a fresh hatchling, but instead a glorified Saurus Warrior ready to take on the likes of people like Anticity, Scrambled Eggs, Turkia. Who can do it? Which one of these two? They're both equally good players, so if any of them can do it, if any of them can fight in the outside of new player tournaments and win one, I think one of these two can do it. Either way, we can only have one Saurus Warrior today. I can't say I want one particular faction to win. I would rather have the Chaos Dwarves here, but I like both. I'm fine with both here. But as for, like, who I think has the upper hand in this matchup in particular, I kind of hate to say it, but I still think the Wood Elves. The Wood Elves are just extremely powerful right now. No matter what. Like, I think they're just that freaking good. But how much of an upper hand, that's what matters, right? I think probably another even situation, if not a little bit more favor toward the Wood Elves. Let's check out the stats. The faction stats on Total Tavern. Tzeentch against the Wood Elves. Whoa, actually, they're extremely good against the Wood Elves. So I was completely wrong. They have an 86% win rate against the Wood Elves. That is incredible. Tzeentch versus the Wood Elves, 6 wins, 1 loss. That is insane. But if any faction could do it, that makes sense. It's Tzeentch. Really, they have a lot of ways to deal with the glass cannony type units of the Wood Elves. And you know what I'm remembering now is that the reason that I liked picking Tzeentch into Wood Elves was because of their heavy cav. Heavy cav, even with their anti-large wild riders that the Wood Elves have, their APROR, they can only do so much. And there's just so much heavy cav that the Tzeentch can put out here, and heavy infantry, that Wood Elves are gonna struggle against. So it makes sense. And Pink Fire and Burning Head, as we saw before, both extremely powerful against the Wood Elves. So can the Wood Elves call on the Green Knight? They could, but I think that would probably be a mistake. Actually, they can't. They can't call on the Green Knight. What am I talking about? They're not Bretonnia. I'm getting factions mixed up here. What is going on? Tzeentch's trickery making me think that Wood Elves have any like friendly reputation with the Green Knight. The Green Knight does not care about them. No, they can't. They have somebody better. They have the big tree man himself. They have plenty of trees to call upon, but do they have a Green Knight? No, they don't. Would fit their faction. But either way, we do have for Tzeentch a Chaos Lord of Tzeentch. He's going to be on horseback. He's got that badass, like, halberd battle axe type situation going on there. I say halberd battle axe type situation because who reasonably wields a massive halberd with a gigantic shield as well. That doesn't make any sense, especially on horseback. No. I'm going to say it's battle axe at this point, but it does have anti-large with it. With a whole bonus of 30. That is insane. He's a very good fighter on horseback. Very tough to deal with. He is a cultist of Tzeentch as well, with just Burning Head. Going to do excellent against Wood Elf infantry and ranged units. What does the Chaos Lord have? Nothing? Okay, just a base kit. So Chaos Warriors as well be the front line. Mass armor seems to be the play to go up against the Wood Elves. We also have a mass vanguard of Zangors to try to contest against the Wood Elf mobility. For the Wood Elves, we have Double Glade Rider will be the skirmish cap for them, with a spell weaver for the Lord. She is here to cast some spells and possibly send Tzeentch back to from whence he came. We have just Earthblood. That'll be it with the Life Bloom. And Double Glade Captain was seen the day once again with their magic ammunition will be pretty good, I think, against the Tzeentch side. Double Zotes is what we're going to see today. This Dragon Ochre reskin, these lizard type things. I don't know what Zotes are particularly, but them and their big stone mallets going to be whacking away at the heavily armored infantry or possibly heavily armored cav of the Tzeentchian side. We also have the Firebark Elders, pretty good here, very tough to take down, especially when you're mostly dealing with Zangors and Chaos Warriors. Not a lot of AP aside from a Soul Grinder and a Chaos Lord. Chaos Lord will do great against them. He'll just take forever to kill any of them. Already right off the bat, the Glade Rider taking some return fire from the Marauder Horsemen, though putting some fire back. Some skirmish trading going on. Theoretically, the Glade Riders should have the advantage there with their range. And the Glade Captains are going to be supporting as well. They catch out they're going to try to catch out those Marauder Horsemen, and they can't really punish them aside from the Chaos Lord. So it makes sense to go for this opportunity there. Glade Captains would be excellent, constantly harassing those Marauder Horsemen, especially with their bonus versus large in melee, and they're going to rout them. Very nice catch there from the Wood Elf player. Very good, especially considering how much ammo they still have left. That is a very nice catch. You can probably continue sending one Glade Rider. I think is worth it to chase them off, but I don't know. It's a lot of resources to invest into that, so maybe not. Chaos Lord going to be doing it as I said, going to be trying to fight these Firebark Elder, and anybody can do what he can. He's pretty good at doing so. Maybe these Glade Captains could also snipe him out, but might be a mistake as well. He's a pretty tanky fighter. They're going to go after the second Marauder Horseman, potentially catching out that one as well. Very good, very smartly. Oof! But you see that javelin volley? Glade Captain took a massive amount of javelins to the face, and that's the issue here. Now it's going to be surrounded by the Glade Captain as well. I mean, by the Chaos Lord as well. And I think this Glade Captain is done so. It can't get out of this with that small little pigeon. I think it's done. I think it's going to be actually killed off before you can get back into the air. I think it's over. A Burning Head can be catching out those Glade Riders, doing pretty good work. Not as good as it would against some ranged infantry like the Deepwood Scouts, of course, but still doing okay work. Glade Captain slightly squeezing out there. Can she get away? If she maybe went through this gap instead, because there's actually an empty space there, she could. She's actually managing to dodge a lot of these attacks from the Chaos Lord, luckily. But how long will she survive? She's pushing back one of the horses. She does escape. Can she get back into the air? She doesn't have any healing, but there's a little bit of healing from the Spellweaver with those Earthbloods. So she can come back and start shooting away. I think trying to snipe out the cultist with like what they were doing against the Von Karstein Lord would be the smart choice, because they need those burning heads to be gone. You don't need those burning heads. Are very, very dangerous. Wild hunters charging in there, but not going to get a whole lot here. Mostly just fighting Zangors and Chaos Warriors. And now they're going to be surrounded by even more Chaos Warriors. They need to get out of there because they will be dragged down very quickly with only their 40 armor and 40 for melee defense. This can be very, very bad for them. I understand why they're sent in to try to help deal with the Chaos Lord, but it's not the right opportunity. They could be help dealing with the spawn of Tzeentch or maybe catching out the Marauder Horseman. Definitely not the right choice there. Burning Head going down once again. I think did a little bit of damage to the Deepwood Scouts, but not too bad. They still have full 80 models. In regards to points, we have 400 points for the Tzeentchian side up against the 140 from the Wood Elves. The Wood Elves probably want to try to capture in point one, but the issue is that they have 2 heavily armored Chaos Warriors there, so maybe sending the Wild Hunters of Kurnus and some... Yeah, it's hard to say. They don't have a lot of infantry clearing right now. They need some infantry clearing because the silver shields from the Tzeentchian Chaos Warriors are going to mitigate a lot of the missile fire from this AP glass cannon Glade Guard. So you need a little bit more AP clearing than that, and more infantry clearing than that. Maybe some Blade Singers would be incredible. They were their magic attacks, their anti-infantry, and heavy AP. That'd be excellent on this point. They could absolutely massacre so many Chaos Warriors, but unfortunately, we don't have them. Instead, we have the Wild Hunters of Kurnus who are buried in combat, down to 500 value only. Only got into 500 value with only like a quarter of their HP gone, or left rather. It's very unfortunate for them, but this does provide a little blobbing if the range units of the Wood Elves can get like side shots, which is harder said than done, which is easier said than done. Then they can mitigate the silver missiles, the silver shields of the Tzeentchians shoot at the sides, but the issue is that they have so much pushing back into the backline, like Zangors, which is very, very scary, including Forsaken as well. Forsaken will tear apart any of the lightly armored infantry as well of the Wood Elves. Forsaken are pretty much counters against any of the infantry that the Wood Elves can throw at them. It's insane how good they are. But the Glade Riders continue to shoot away, getting rid of the Zangors, run over that one, free up their backline. Now they can go around the side and start providing like side shot supporting fire, or maybe trying to contest point one, because even if it is still Chaos Warriors, they can just bury them in bodies and eventually tire them out and kill them, even if they don't have the armor piercing. Vigor is like very, very important, and like a really tired Chaos Warrior unit will be going down to 90 armor, 55 leadership. Like they'll take some pretty big penalties from the Vigor penalties. Oof! And that army ability comes in there and finishes off that Glade Captain. Oh, can the Spellweaver finish off the Chaos Warrior? Chaos Lord? I don't think so. I don't think she has the capabilities to do so, even in his weakened state. He's still a very tough fighter despite that. I mean, look at all these penalties from, not only from his wounds, but also from his Vigor penalties as well. He's very tired. And he's still being such a menace in the backline. Glade Captain is going to go in there once again. Another Glade Captain, rather. Trying to potentially finish him off. And he might. She just might be able to shut that guy down. That menace down. But that's not even part of the bigger problems that the Wood Elves are having right now. But if they can maybe break leadership on these units in the center here, they could turn things around. Once that Chaos Lord is gone, snipe him out. But in reverse, that could happen for the Wood Elves as well. Spellweaver's taking quite a bit of damage. Chaos Lord, one or two more hits, maybe. Down to -4 leaders, down to -6. Does get routed once that Chaos Lord gets killed. That could affect the leadership heavily for these units in the center here. Firebark Elders continue to fight. Zotes here as well, same with the Glade Riders, could turn this fight around, especially with some more infantry support. But the Forsaken are pushing into the Wood Elves back line. They're struggling tremendously. Blade Singers, or War Dancers rather, going to get mulched apart by the Forsaken. Rather, it's going to be a very bloody battle, specifically because the Forsaken have 85 armor and then a whole whopping 40 melee attack. But they are surrounded now by the Glade Riders as well, so it might turn things around a little bit more evenly. But normally that'd be a complete massacre for both sides, a very bloody battle. Sniping out this cultist could also help quite a bit as well with the Glade Captain, now that the Zangor, or rather now that the Chaos Lord is gone. But Tzeentch looking pretty oppressive here. What looked to be maybe a little bit of hope to capture point 2 back, the Wood Elves couldn't capitalize on it because they were so pushed back far into their back lines, into their spawn points, that they couldn't capitalize on sniping out the Chaos Lord. And he had already done so much damage as it was that at this point I don't think it mattered. At this point I do not think it mattered. But they are making leeway to point 1. You do have some leeway. War Dancers and Dryads now making their way over, same with some Glade Riders. But we also have some weird spawn coming in. Chaos Knights got summoned in as well as Lances. So if you're going to be a big menace, those guys. But we do have some side shots coming in from the Glade Guard. That's going to be pretty good against these Chaos Knights who aren't at the moment facing that way. So their shields aren't mitigating those shots. Very good. Glade Captain trying to jump in there on her little eagle, trying to snipe out that caster, but I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Tzeentchian player is too... get their eyes open too much. I mean, they are a Tzeentchian player, so they probably have eyes all over their bodies, looking at every single potential point of attack. Yeah, these Sword Dancers are going to have a terrible time against the Chaos Warriors. They do not have the AP to deal with them. 10 is okay, but not good enough, especially against the Chaos Warriors who have a whopping 44 melee defense as well. As you can see, losing pretty badly. Weird Spawn, especially with their support, do not have the AP to deal with those Chaos Warriors. They could drown them in bodies, but they don't have the bodies to do so. Forsaken being finished off there, being sent back up to almost 1,200 points here for the Tzeentchian side. Things are looking to be at a point of no return. The Wild Hunters of Kurnus are back. If they can get us around there on those Chaos Knights of Lances, that could be pretty good there. They took a charge back, which is not good for them. As you can see from the damage they just took. Immense amount of damage. Look how much damage they took. Oh my god, it is so bad. Especially with the Sundered armor. They have the 10 armor. They have 44 melee defense, which is great, but there's just too much there. And once they take a hit as well from that charge, I mean, they're doing an immense amount of damage to those Chaos Knights, but there's just so many bodies here that the Wild Hunters have to deal with. It's not looking pretty. I wonder if the Glade Captains had stayed in the air and continued just shooting away at the cultists would have stopped some of these burning heads to help keep some of their range units in the fray. I don't know. Another Cav unit coming in there. They do get a rear charge from the Glade Riders as well surrounding them. Just a big old blob fight on point 2, starting to sway into the Wood Elf's side. But the issue is, here comes some more Marauders, and point 1 is nowhere close to being taken by the Wood Elves. They're not going to be able to take that back, so they're scrapping back for point 2 as much as possible. If they can take point 2, then that could maybe start collapsing, which giving them the opportunity to make their way to point 1. But I don't think it's possible. I think Tzeentch might be able to hold on to point 1 no matter what happens with point 2, and I think it'll be their game. But it's a good scrap back from the Wood Elves. Another burning head, another deadly burning head ripping through those Glade Guard, doing pretty immense damage. And it bounces back. Look at that. But yeah, the Glade Captain, she's doing her best. But unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. Chaos Warriors fighting back the immense amount of Dryads. Weird Spawn as well, ripping through those Glade Riders and the Dryads as well, with that armor sundering, doing really good work. Glade Captain picking away at these Weird Spawn, but she's not gonna be able to contend with the Chaos Lord back again. And close to 1,500 points here. Tzeentch will be taking this tourney. Unlimited Power is now a full-fledged Source Warrior. Well played to Bobby Shmurda. Well played to everybody in this tournament. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you guys all for hanging out. It's been an excellent tourney. New players, they've got some power. They've got some freaking power. I'm afraid for the stronger players, the stronger older players like Scrambled Egg Special, like Circia, like Outer Region, Anticity. Gotta watch out for these new players. They are pretty deadly with the right faction in their hands. Well played to everybody. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. You guys can all leave me now and go watch Turn if you so please. He is very entertaining, and I'm sure he's got some high-level plays going on right now on his stream. But it's been excellent casting for you guys once again. Thanks, Jared. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks once again for playing in the tournament. Let me know. Please do let me know some feedback on the tournament. If you guys would like to see more new player tournaments, once again, I will gladly host them. Just got to let me know. And, if you guys want map bans or something, I figured that'd be probably too much for new players, but, you know, I'll take any feedback into consideration. Have a good rest of your Thursday and weekend. Might stream tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. But either way, thank you guys once again for hanging out. But let's go over the values real quick. Just before I head out, 1378 here on the Chaos Lord. He did fantastic, very cheap, good, effectable fighter. Mass heavy armor continues to be the plague for the Wood Elves, and it makes sense. I mean, it's just so cost effective to just heavily push with this heavy mass armor that the infantry of the Wood Elves are not cost effective at dealing with. And considering all these silver freaking shields, that is also a big plague of the Wood Elves. They hate shields. Give them some armor break, some shield breaking, maybe. I don't know. Maybe somewhere they need something in this, or just to not have to deal with this matchup ever again. Fortunately for them, either way, it was tough for them, especially with all these freaking burning heads. The Wood Elves hate fire. They hate heavy armor and they hate fire. Can you blame them? Go Trek. No, I cannot. Felix. No, I cannot. 21-16 there on the cultists. Everything else 1774 on those spawn. Very good. 1190 on these Marauder Horsemen. Getting that face full of javelins into that Glade Captain was insane. Such a good amount of damage. Those guys are dangerous up close if you're not careful. 544, 962, and 1012 there on those Chaos Knights. Very good. Spellweaver, just there for healing. Glade Captains didn't do as effective this time, but still got 1100 on one. Skirmishing was okay. Zote had a tough time as well. Maybe caught out a little too early. Maybe shouldn't be in the starting armor. Maybe in the reinforcements. I think is probably the best bet because they're just a heavy front load of, like, whenever you're against the Ancients of the Wood Elves, Nerexa knows best in terms of what to do. But I think you have to expect heavy armor every time. So maybe going with some more anti-infantry right off the bat is the best part. I don't know. It's hard to say. Do we need to bring in some more tree life? Maybe some treekin? More treekin? I don't know. Hard to say. Bad because the javelins could be pretty detrimental to them. But nonetheless, with their Warp Flame debuff, 1099 on the Glade Guard. I think it's just one of those matchups that are just, I think the Wood Elves have to try to avoid as much as possible. But in SFTs is very hard. 1759 on the Wild Hunters of Kernus. They did great. Good job to everyone. Well played to both these players. Loved having you guys here. Loved streaming for you guys once again. Have a good day. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.